Yeah, what's up everybody? More Umineko time, and yeah, I feel that today we're going to actually have a really quite fun day, because last time we saw so many things that I think could be described with no other word than epic. I mean, my god, we saw all of the stuff regarding Dlanor, Beatrice, and Basilar, and it was just really, really interesting to see one of the biggest logic battles I think we have ever seen. It's just really quite ironic to think that, you know, now the roles of Basilar and Beatrice have completely reversed. Now, I really do wonder what's actually going to happen regarding the Beatrice outside the game board. I really hope that we're actually going to see some more of, you know, the things that are happening in general to her. I also hope we're going to be able to see the progression of the game more today. I hope we're obviously going to be able to hear some new tracks. I've heard that the Great Witch Hunt, I think it is. Apparently that's a really, really good track. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to today. I hope we're going to hear it. I don't know. I think it's going to be likely. But yeah, anyway, in the Golden Land, the quiet rain just kept on falling. Yep, that tells me this is not going to be a very happy atmosphere. Yeah, and so does that. Yeah, in the arbour sat the sad witch whose eyes had lost their glint, and Basilar. They had done, though, seriously. There is nothing going on in her life. It's just horrible to think. You know, it really, really emphasises the cruelty of the witches. Yeah, but Wadagiriga could also be seen there. She sat next to Bertol, knitting quietly. Damn. She's like a proper grandma. Loved her daughter's game and passed the climax of the first twilight. Oh, yeah, and they were taking a short break. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because obviously, at the moment, some of the most significant things have actually happened. I mean, obviously, all of the people here are taking breaks. I don't think anyone in the mansion or any car is taking a break, though. Definitely not. Gazing out at the golden rose garden soaked with rain, Basilar considered the present, what was to come, and what happened so far. Yeah, to Basilar, the act of thinking itself was a battle. True, yeah. Yeah, even with the game stopped and Bertol unable to speak, he could still keep on. Agreed, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he could still keep on fighting. Yeah, because the thing is, even if it's a break, if you think and you devise motives, you devise anything that could actually be used in the game, that's as good as fighting itself. It's kind of like homework. You should do it. Yeah, Wadagiriga suddenly stopped her knitting. Oh boy, that's how you notice that stuff is going on. Basilar noticed it too. Oh, because though none should have been able to visit this rose garden, she had noticed a silhouette approaching. That's unusual. That's actually really quite weird. Interesting. So whoever this is, it's a really, really powerful person, I'd assume. Yeah, not many people were capable of reaching this place. It's her. Who? Oh, interesting. Now that's actually really quite interesting. That obviously shows that Dlanor has a lot of power and a lot of influence as well. Whatever the Eisern Jungfrau actually is, I mean, some sort of court that operates in heaven, and, you know, being the head inquisitor means you have a lot of power, I'm assuming, and a lot of influence over anything witch related. That silhouette which walked amidst the quietly falling rain without so much as an umbrella. Oh yeah, of course. Why would she have an umbrella? Yeah, it was Dlanor. Yeah, that is odd. That was a spectacular garden maze. A splendid way to enjoy the roses. Seriously though, yeah. Why are you here? It's been some time, Miss Beatrice. I find it really, really odd that she actually uses the English for, you know, people's titles. It's just really, really odd. Like, I mean, she speaks in Japanese and yet she doesn't use the conventional Japanese titles. I really wonder why that actually is. Oh my god, no wait, now it's Miss Wadagiriga, is it not? That's absurd. That really, really shows that not only the fact that she has been living for years, but also the fact that Wadagiriga is actually, you know, obviously changed from Beatrice the last time they've actually met. That's absurd. Yeah, that's actually really quite interesting that the garden is laid out in a manner of a maze, but yeah, I suppose you could enjoy the roses because obviously you'd be trying so hard to actually find your destination that, you know, you kind of be forced to see all of the roses that are actually there, because obviously they'd be on the way. Long time no see, Dlanor. Of course they know each other. I really do wonder what's actually happening regarding their relationship. Why did they know each other? What reason did Wadagiriya have to know her? Come over here. Fair enough. Yeah, I really do wonder what her intentions actually are here. We aren't ones to leave a guest out in the rain. That's nice. Yeah, Bastila is totally apprehensive. Don't worry. My god, I thought... Yeah, that's good. She hasn't come to fight. But yeah, that is good. Do you know her? She's one of my old friends from heaven. She has friends in heaven? I'm just so surprised about that. But at the same time, look at her magic. It's dedicated to, you know, the betterment of mankind, really. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. It would just be natural that she actually has connections to heaven. That it does. Miss Wadagiriya possesses a deep knowledge in heavenly studies. Alright, I've often argued with her over interpretations. I really feel bad for Dlanor. I don't know, there's just something about Dlanor. I mean, obviously the whole thing regarding her father. She literally had to convict her father on a trial that she was doing. And obviously after that she's just completely lost all of her emotions. But it's just so horrible because in her voice just genuinely sounds so sad. Even when she's naturally speaking, it's just really quite sorrowful just to, you know, listen to her voice. Oh, well, many intellectual adventures with you were quite enjoyable. I'd like to do it again sometime. Oh my god, so I'm assuming they had really bad arguments, or maybe they just had really arguments that are filled with debates and that are really complex. Yes. Let's do it again sometime. Oh, that's actually really interesting. So they're probably fighting over their interpretations. I'd love to fight with you again. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they used the word fight, but it didn't sound like they meant anything unpleasant by it. It sounded like something old chess rivals would say. No, I see that actually, yeah. Unlike Bertolt, it seems Wadagiriya always behaved properly and courteously. I know, it really is surprising. And I was thinking that it really is out of character that Wadagiriya is actually really evil and, you know, has actually turned out to try to help Beatrice, you know, betray Bastila in episode 3. Now, I do think it is quite surprising that that has actually happened, and obviously that she serves on Kinzo's side. But at the same time, I mean... Firstly, she does it because she has to, in Kinzo's case, because obviously she is Kinzo's furniture. And also, with the whole Beatrice-related situation, I think she's doing it because of the fact that... I don't know, it's hard to tell. Yeah, so she had many friends in various other worlds, including both heaven and the demon world. I mean, I suppose you could think of it as not as doing a little bit of evil to help somebody out, but at the same time it is still an evil act, so it just kind of surprises me that she has done it. Because it really does surprise me, but the evil nature of Wadagiriya really is out of character. Surprisingly, Dlanor was one of them. I know, it is. Oh yeah, Dlanor, who would cross swords with quote-unquote me. That's a good detail, I like that, just a short while ago. That was ahead like somebody taking shelter from a sudden rain and sat in the seat Wadagiriya pointed out, like a guest. Is there any type of black tea you would prefer? Of course they have. That's hilarious to think that they have different types of black tea. Like, having black tea is not enough, you've got to have all the different types of it. Anything. Fair. Yeah, any tea you make is superb. Then how about some Darjeeling? What a weird tea name, wow. Butler Bertolt, would you like some more? Don't really know if Beatrice is going to be able to respond to that, yeah. Well, she hasn't exactly said whether she would or not. Bertolt and I would like a refill. Right? Yeah, it's just horrible to think that, you know, he tries to friendly engage in conversation, but, you know, it's not because obviously she doesn't want to know Battler or there's no things that would actually make her refusing to talk to him. No, it's just because she can't. Like, she genuinely can't. Yeah, as usual, Battler didn't answer, but if you quietly gave her a cup, she would sip it from time to time. Yeah, that's cool. There was still some black tea left in that cup, but it had already chilled. So Battler asked for a refill for Bertol. I was like, that's nice, yeah. I've heard the rumours. Oh my god, yeah, how pitiable that Beatrice, the endless witch famous for her cruelty. Fair, yeah, but the only thing is, this is the thing. She would have initially wanted to have died, but she wasn't aware about the fact that Lambda and Byrne were actually going to take over the game board. So, you know, she would have in theory died and, you know, had the long desired sleep that she would have wanted. But no, she hasn't been able to. Yeah, definitely, yeah. She's no longer participating in this game. Lambda Delta is the one controlling the Bertor that's on the game board. Yeah. I know. However, she is the original master of this world. And you were the proper guest invited by that master. That's why I've came here to pay my respects. On the game board, Bertor and I met Dlanor. Yeah, but those were the game pieces of those witches. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. They weren't Bertor and me ourselves. Yeah, agreed, yeah. Is that why you went out of your way to greet Battler-kun and Bertor here? No, I see that. Yeah, I see you're as conscientious as ever. That is my way of doing things. Greetings, Mr. Battler. I'm Dlanor A. Nox. We play opposing roles, but it is a pleasure to meet you. I do find it really quite ironic that, you know, Battler at the moment, he is actually having to accept witches and deny any, Wait, no, hang on a second, I'm getting a little bit muddled up. No, Battler still is having to deny witches, but at the same time, it's just really quite nuts that, you know, Beatrice is having to deny the fact that Kinzo has actually been able to, escape without any magic-related causes. It's just ironic to think that because of the fact that that's being denied, Beatrice's roles are just totally reversed, and, yeah. That's actually really quite interesting. So it really is like, in the game board, obviously, you make it so that you have victory or defeat. And then outside the game board, you actually meet the people who are controlling the pieces. I mean, that is a really quite nice way of, well, I suppose, making friends and just, you know, being a dignified opponent, really.
Oh.
Sure. I'm Ishidomi Battler. Nice to meet you. Yeah, somebody's not going to be able to answer. I wonder what she's actually thinking when seeing Dlanor there. Greetings, Miss Beatrice. I'm Dlanor A. Nox. Yeah, that's horrible. She can't say anything. Bertol. She's saying hi. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, she looks really quite sad. She says welcome. Well, she hasn't actually said that, but... Yeah, I see that. Yeah, thank you very much. Miss Beatrice. I know, it is really quite ironic that, you know, yeah, Inquisitor of Heresy is then talking to a witch. Yeah, the witch and the Inquisitor of Heresy, whose job it was to hunt witches. Yeah, greeted each other around a tea table surrounded by the aroma of black tea. By the way, I forgot to do this, but, oh shit. I forgot to see what the black tea that they were having was, Oh, I forgot. Forgot what it was called. That's not really that important. The witch and the Inquisitor of Heresy, whose job it was to hunt witches, greeted each other around a tea table surrounded by the aroma of black tea. I agree, it was a strange sight. Ooh. Wadigidia made golden butterflies sprout from the palms of her hands and transformed them in... Oh, of course, into a teapot and a can of tea leaf. My god, that is so convenient. It was a very witch-like way to make it. Yeah, seriously, yeah. I just really wonder, like, how do you make it so that the original ingredients are actually made? I mean, obviously you've got to make it so that the magic actually forms all of the chemical formulae required for all of the, well, I suppose all of the things inside the tea leaves, really. I mean, it's absurd. Yeah, of course, she was actually a witch, so that scene wasn't particularly bizarre in itself. Oh, it must be for Battler, though. Yeah. Understandable, actually, yeah, though I was a bit concerned about whether Dlanor, an Inquisitor of Heresy, could watch such a spectacle. Do not worry. Yeah, it's just as if Dlanor has literally seen into Battler's thoughts. That's quite funny, do not worry. Fair. That would be really quite funny that if, you know, Dlanor was so serious about her, well, not, if she was so paranoid about her job that she would literally complain about whether tea is actually served in a magical way. I mean, my god, I think this would be a little bit contradictory. Like, why would you do something like this greeting if that is going to happen? Don't worry, I'm not so boorish as to complain about how my tea is served. Yeah, even though the tea's being made with magic. There is a tea set hiding in the shadows, and Miss Wadagiria is making us tea with it in secret. God, we interpret or judge that it was made by magic, and it is written as such in the tale. That interpretation is allowed by Nox's 9th. What's that? Oh, right, yeah. It is permitted for observers to let their own conclusions and explanations be heard. Right. Yeah, so obviously Dlanor can have her own observations actually be commented on because of the fact that it is permitted for her to do so. And that actually makes it valid that you can deny magic there. It's really surprising that, like, even though you literally see magic right in front of you, it is reasonable to find a conclusion that makes it so that what you have seen in front of you, it's denied. It's absurd. It really is. But, yeah, that is the magic of Umineko, I suppose. Well, I meant magic figuratively there, but yeah, still. Oh my. Really? My god. I do believe that the interpretation of the 9th is such a delicate problem that it's viewed as a taboo, even in the Great Court. Oh my god. Even though it's just a personal opinion, if it became known that the head Inquisitor of Heresy said such a thing, you might be sacked! No matter what interpretation I record it with. There are no lies in the taste of your tea. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Therefore, I do not worry about how it was prepared. Though she looked cold. Yeah, definitely. Yes, she was a surprisingly tactful person. Definitely. If Dlanor were to deny that the black tea had been prepared with magic, this magic would surely be crushed in an instant. Yeah. However, the possibility had been presented that a tea set existed and had been used to make the tea normally. Yeah. So the fact that Warigiria had made the tea was in the end as disputed. Makes sense. Fully makes sense, actually, because obviously you could have just some sort of tea set and obviously a tea kettle hiding in some sort of other place because of the fact that it has legitimately been made. But to be fair, it is a devil's proof whether it's legitimately been made or not. It could still have been made with magic, but if you interpret it as something that has legitimately been made, then it's as if it doesn't really matter how it actually was delivered to you. It just mattered about the fact that it tastes and was legitimately made in your interpretation. Interesting. Magic that hides the result in darkness is evil. I will not permit it. However, magic that enshrouds the process is not necessarily evil. Oh, that's interesting. That is really interesting. That actually makes sense as to why Dlanor actually denies witches, because of the fact that their magic actually leads into darkness, which leads into evil. And, you know... That is actually really interesting to think that the magic that hides results in darkness is evil. So basically, magic that entirely makes it so that a process's means are changed is evil, but at the same time, magic that only helps a process isn't necessarily evil. That's interesting. I see. The important thing is that you're being served some tea. Yeah, fair. Yeah, so it's just common courtesy to avoid complaining about how it was made. It's an absurd argument, but yeah, that's right. When somebody makes tea for you, it's common courtesy to be grateful. Yeah. There's nothing elegant about pushing your way into the kitchen and criticising how they brew it. True. Yeah. That's a good way to get kicked out of restaurants or cafes or places like that. Yeah, you don't invite your guests into the kitchen. And when you set the table, you should adorn it beautifully in the spirit of hospitality. Fair, yeah. Here you go, careful, it's hot. Thank you. I'd like some sugar and milk. Damn. I wonder how many sugars she takes. You still can't drink it straight. I'm a kid. It must be sweet. Fair enough. So then, is magic kind, gentle? Lie. It does, yeah, the word lie makes it sound bad. The word embellishment is probably more fitting. Wait, how does the definition fully contrast? And how does it compare? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, a decorative detail or feature added to something to make it more attractive. Yeah, that's interesting. So you can view magic as, well, a thing that's added onto the daily processes and necessities of life to make it more convenient and... Yeah, but that does make sense here. And it is really interesting to think that, you know, I just find this really quite surprising. So the fact that, you know, Dlanor will only criticise the magic that actually makes it so that the human culprit and, you know, the human truth is actually completely obstructed. But what I find really interesting is to think that, you know, this doesn't necessarily have to be evil. If it has to result in darkness, it could potentially be something that maybe has really made somebody's life better. But at the same time, it would still be considered evil with her because of the fact that it hides the truth in darkness. When giving a child candy, you can take a crumpled one out of your pocket. Or you can use some clever sleight of hand to take the candy out. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Yeah, because obviously you're going to have the same result, but obviously if it's actually taken out from within your pocket, then it's just gonna look like you've done it sloppily. And if you do it, voila, here's your shit candy. It's gonna look a lot cooler, and it's gonna you could then use the placebo effect to think. I don't really know if it's the placebo effect, but more. You've seen it be served correctly and well, so as a result your tastes and your overall interpretation of the candy that you're trying, even though it's completely crumpled up, is going to be better, and your experience is going to be better. That's not the placebo effect, but still, it's kind of like it. It's going to be better as a result of it, and it's going to taste better because of the fact that it was served better. I wasn't really thinking about a magic trick. I was thinking more just how you actually present the candy with your hands. You could do like wazam candy right there, and I don't know, you were hiding the candy, I don't know, somewhere between your fingers or something like that to make it look like it was done magically. But yeah, I don't know, just some sort of cool way of handing it out. Yeah, well, it would look a lot cooler if you took it out with a literal magic trick. Oh. There is meaning in the fact that the result, giving them candy, has been adorned to be even more beautiful and fun. Think of when you give Maria-chan a candy. There's a huge difference between taking it out of your pocket to give it to her and slipping it into a pocket. Fair enough, yeah, and saying a fairy gave it to her for being such a good girl. And that is really interesting. I suppose that could be what Warigiria said. It's a lie because of the fact that it's making it so that the truth isn't actually valid, because a fairy did not give the candy to Maria. But at the same time, it is kind of an embellishment at the same time, because it's adding another layer onto the truth, but the other layer's a lie. So, but at the same time, the result of the lie is a good outcome. You know, Maria's going to be more happy. So, I don't really know how you'd view that. Yeah, but that is interesting that it doesn't really matter how magic actually looks and how cool it actually is in reality. It's just the results that it actually gives. Like, for example, here, I mean, let's just say you're at a restaurant, for example, and you've been served food with magic. I mean, obviously, you're going to think that it's a lot cooler and more convenient, and you're going to enjoy the food more. You're going to have a better impression of it. Kind of like how Maria would have of this candy after having eaten it, if Battler lied about some sort of magic course.
それを全員のアリバイを調べて
You have got to be kidding me. Oh my god. You were literally going to do like some sort of police-like blooming interrogation just to see who has actually slipped candy into somebody's pocket. To be fair, if that candy was disguised as, I don't know, some sort of deadly drug, fair, but I don't really think it would be. In my opinion, it would be Boris to then question everyone about their alibis and pinpoint who it was that slipped into her pocket. Yeah, definitely. It would be pointless. Yeah, the important thing is the result, that the girl received the candy and rejoiced. Yeah, fair, yeah. And it is significant that it was embellished. Fair, yeah. That is interesting. So then you could link that to magic and you can say that magic is actually embellished onto things that can actually be done without magic, so that a different... Oh, that's interesting. Now I'm getting it, yeah. Magic is embellished so that normal tasks that actually occur can have another layer to them and they can inspire different outcomes as a result of that. Think about Edika, for example. Human crime, boom, magic is added, really, really different outcome because of the fact that magic has been embellished onto what has actually happened beforehand that you knew of. That's surprising. No, that is understandable, but the thing is, I find it really interesting that the people who are the best in terms of magic related things are the people that are like Angie, the people that understand magic but at the same understand magic and are willing to accept it to a certain extent, but at the same time aren't willing to fully formulate their basis around it and are actually able to deny it as well. That's surprising. When you showed up, I get the feeling you'd deny anything that went by the name of magic. But yeah, that is fair. Yeah, that's how I act in my capacity as an Inquisitor of Heresy. It is my job. Fair. Fair. That's really quite nice, yeah. However, when I am away from my job, I don't enjoy being quite so cold-hearted. She does seem like a nice person. I mean, she seems very, very serious and very, very, serious, stone-faced. But at the same time, she does seem like a nice person because... But yeah, that must be hard. So you set your personal feelings aside and went on duty. You do it seriously, yeah, you do it well. Yeah, as an Inquisitor of Heresy, hunting witch is my job. However, I personally find witches pitiable. God. That is surprising, yeah. Despite this, I carry out judgment mercilessly as an Inquisitor. So she thinks that magic that actually embellishes normal things and gives a different result isn't evil, but magic that makes it so that the normal result is completely misinterpreted and is completely disappearing is evil. That's just, I mean, obviously it's probably a pointless thing to remember, but I don't know, my intuition is telling me that that's something I really, really need to remember. I hope I do. No, definitely, yeah. In the end, that doesn't change the fact that I sentence witches to death. I mean, obviously I do get the fact that, you know, her job is a really, really significant and high one. But the only thing is I just don't really understand why she actually does it. Like, she finds witches pitiable and yet she wants to sentence them to death. Like, why does she do her job if she finds witches pitiable? It just is such an odd contrast. In the end, that doesn't change the fact that I sentence witches to death. That's interesting. In the end, my pity is nothing more than a useless embellishment. True. Ah, that's another layer to the magic related thing. Yeah, because obviously, whether you could also view it as, let's say for example, the Maria and her candy, you could say, yeah, so you can tell Maria that it was with magic and, you know, a fairy put it in her pocket, or you can just put it in her pocket yourself. But at the same time, if, let's just say some magic has actually happened and it's got into the pocket, the end result is still the same, nothing has changed. And that means that magic is just a thing that's added on to make the same result, really. It's really confusing. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. I agree. Ooh, yeah, so it would be better if I didn't. I wonder. No, I agree. Yeah, that's not true. Even if the ends are the same, what's in your heart makes a big difference. Fair, yeah. Wow. God damn. Who is this person's parent? Oh my god. Your mother's cookies are clearly more delicious than those made by a good pastry shop. I really wonder if we're actually going to see her parent. Her mother. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's because you know they were made with heart. Yeah, because obviously with pastry shops, I mean, though they may be really nice, they're just made for business. They aren't really made for heart. But at the same time, I don't really think that necessarily goes for every single one. But it's going to be more made with heart and love for people that, you know, are known by the person who is actually making them. That's right. Even if the result looks the same. Seriously, yeah. Whether or not there's warmth behind the feelings of whoever gave it to you makes it a bit different. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Is that so? To be fair, in the job, I agree, but outside the job, I disagree. I think it is really, really essential because obviously it's a hard job that she does. If she actually pities witches, she must feel a lot of guilt. She needs to have emotion so that she can, you know, not fully fall victim to her guilt, really. Whether I have a heart or not is completely meaningless. Dlanor's gaze fell to her cup, but yeah, a little sadly. Yeah. I really... Oh, yeah, that's not true. Yeah, same actually, yeah. It's really, really surprising to me that, you know, Dlanor isn't just a merciless person who wants to actually hunt witches, and it's just really quite odd to see, you know, the, you know, die to death, die the death sentence to death, Great Equalizer is the death person, versus, you know, a person like this! Yeah, after hearing all this, I've changed my view of you a bit. Fair, yeah. Fair. And that's why I'm certain the heart isn't meaningless. I see that, yeah. Oh, I like that, yeah. Marigiria was a little surprised to hear the words she should have said coming from Battler's mouth. Well, that's a good thing. That really is. After all, understanding the heart is the first step towards finding the essence of magic. Seriously, yeah. Look at Angie and Maria. Yeah, but now, perhaps Battler has unconsciously started to understand bit by bit. Because what Angie did is she understood Maria, and she really, really understood everything that was happening regarding her, you know, power of creation, really. And as a result of understanding all of that, she had understood, you you know, how to actually really increase her own magical power. The essence of Beltor, the essence of witches. The very first essence of all, magic. Whether you want to become a witch or vanquish them. Fair, yeah, the very first step is learning about magic. Why did Gideon was sure that she'd felt this faint change within Battler? That's quite something.
先ほどの戦いではありがとうございました。
As for that last fight, thank you very much.
最後の最後に慈悲を与えてくれたこと感謝いたします。
Fair, yeah, I'm grateful for the mercy you showed me at the very end.
あの俺は俺じゃねえぜ。
But no, it is true, yeah, that me wasn't me. But at the same time, if the battler on the game board can still show Dlanor some mercy, it is. It is a thing to be grateful for, I see that. And it is a representation of his overall personality. If the person who is, you know, really quite similar to us, but if another person of him still has the same feelings of mercy and, you know, just in general kindness, that shows that, you know, he's been doing well in terms of his personality.
ラムダデルタが操ってたんだ。
Nah, it was burned, but okay. Lambda Delta was controlling him. Yeah, I joined in on the 5th game partway through. I still hadn't participated at this point in time. Oh yeah, true, yeah, so until I do join in, the Peace Me is probably being controlled by Burncastle or Lambda Delta. You literally got it wrong, it is Burncastle.
あいつらどういう気まぐれだろうな。
Just what kind of whim's guiding them?
妙にかっこよくしてくれやがって。
Trying to make it look all cool.
あれじゃまるで俺がベアトを助けに来たナイト
Oh my god, seriously? I don't disagree with that. Yeah, they made me look like some sort of knight coming to save Beltor. I just find it so surprising, like genuinely so ridiculously surprising that because of Dlanor, Battler had actually survived and he had actually been able to prove the means of getting down.
ラムダデルタ教は魔女と人間のそれぞれが均衡し、ドローゲームとなることを望んでいます。
Lady Lambda Delta wants both witches and humans to be in balance, resulting in a draw.
エリカの登場により、天秤が人間側に大きく傾いたの
Fair,
で、
yeah. With Edika's appearance, the scales tip strongly in the favor of the human
ベアト
side.
に加担するように物語を操ったのでしょう。
Yeah, so she manipulated the tale in a way that supports Beltor.
それは知っています。
I'm aware of that. By the way, I just want to get a little recap of, you know, when Battler actually showed mercy to Dlanor. Quick little recap. Never ever does any harm. It was so funny seeing Edika's loss yesterday, holy fuck. So when was it? Was it... Yeah, no, I see that. It's actually a little bit subtle, but when you actually read it again, you can totally see it. So basically, Battler had when it was as if a pencil had literally been just on the top of Dlanor's head, you know, the tip just pointing towards her head, but obviously it's not a pencil, it's a blimmin' blue wedge. Yeah, when it had actually been in that position, Battler chose to just make it snap, and then everything had just shattered. Dlanor hadn't actually been killed and she had been shown mercy rather than actually dying. So it's basically thanks to Battler that Dlanor's actually alive right now. It's really quite impressive, that. I'm
し
aware
か
of
し
that.
駒はできないことはできない。
True, yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that. That's actually really interesting. So even though Battler is being controlled by Burncastle, Everything that is done here is a representation of his true potential. However, pieces cannot do things that are impossible for them.
本来の性格にふさわしい行為を
That's
得意とし
brilliant, yeah. And they specialize in actions appropriate to their original personality. That is really interesting to think about Keenzo in episode 4. The fact that that is an action that's appropriate to his original personality. Man must have been
だ
insane.
からあれは確かにあなたのバトラの成し得たことです
Yeah, therefore, that was certainly something that you, the battler, was capable
だ
of.
からあなたに感謝するのです
Fair, yeah. That's why I'm grateful to you. Because seriously, yeah. No, but at the same time, he has the personality to be able to do these things, so that is why he is being praised. It feels a bit weird to be praised when I didn't actually do anything.
ゲームがもう少し進めば俺の駒も俺が操るようになるだろうな
Yeah, after the game continues a bit more, I'll probably regain control of my piece. Fair,
その
yeah.
時にも優しく手加減するかはわからねえぜ
Yeah, I don't disagree. Not sure I'll be able to go easy on you then.
私も同じです
It's the same with me.
次に太刀を交えるときは遅れは取りません
The next time we cross swords, I won't hold back.
上等だ相手してやるぜ
Yeah, bring it on, I'll be your
全
opponent.
力で来い
Come up with me with all you've
約
got.
束します全力です
I promise with everything I've got. Wow, Dlanor, huh? I thought she was just some... Seriously, me too. Yeah, I thought she was just an emotionless killer doll without a heart. It is even more surprising to think that she actually, firstly, seems like a nice person, and secondly, has a heart. Yeah, but maybe she is actually pretty approachable. Yeah, all of these people are, to be honest. Not FR Beatrice, but, you know, everyone apart from FR Beatrice, I think, has actually been remotely approachable. And Lambda and Burn. But still. Do you see what I mean? And maybe Beatrice. Beatrice at first, sure, but then the more you get to know Beatrice, the more she becomes approachable. So of course, neither of us will show any mercy when fighting on the game board. Yeah, seriously, yeah. For a while, we gazed at the rain-drenched rose garden as we quietly enjoyed our tea. That's quite cool. Ooh, what are we going to be seeing now? Human? Oh, no.
一つ
Nothing human.
謝らねばなりません
Oh, that's interesting. That actually really surprises me. What has she got to apologise for? What? With a sudden sigh, Dlanor muttered something.
何がだ
What is it?
さっきの戦いのことならもうノーサイドだぜ
Yeah, I really do wonder. If it's about that fight a short while ago, it's already
お
over.
互い全力で戦ったろ
We both thought of everything we
勝
had.
ち負けは時の運だぜ
Yeah, the outcome was just the luck of the draw.
いいえ時の運ではありません
No, it wasn't luck of the draw.
それに任せられなかったから私は謝罪に訪れたのです
Really? I couldn't just let it be, so I came here to apologise.
何の話だ
What are you talking about?
勝ちを譲ったということですね
Why? You're saying that you threw the match, aren't you? Lydia spoke softly, without hesitating in her knitting. Very casually. Why? That is correct.
ミスター・バトラー
ミスターはかゆいぜ
It is though, seriously, that mister's really awkward.
バトラでいい
Just battler works fine.
バトラー
Badora,
謝罪します
I apologise.
私たちは全力ではありませんでした
I mean, to be fair, that isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, I just find it really interesting that she actually threw it away in the end. Why? We did not give it everything we had.
分かっていますよ
I know.
金蔵は全ゲーム開始時に死亡している
Oh my god, yeah, definitely, yeah. How would you actually be able to deny that? Yeah, that's interesting because that would have been able to complete... That one red would have potentially been able to have completely defeated them. I see that. Keenza was dead at the starting time for all games.
すでにベアトによって語られている真実
Yeah, Beto has already spoken that truth.
あの戦いはバトラ君には引き分けに持ち込めれば上々。
In that battle, Batara-kun could have only achieved a draw at
勝
best.
ち目は絶対にないはずの戦いでした。
You most certainly had no chance of winning at
そ
all.
うだな。
You're right.
一言そう言われちまえば
Agreed, yeah.
それで終わっちまう戦いだった。
Yeah, that's really interesting, but at the same time I think that Dlanor actually wanted to have a level playing field for Battler, so as a result of that she didn't go all out and invalidate him within a few seconds. And I find that really interesting, though she's obviously saying everything about the fact that she needs to maintain her composure for the job and obviously put her heart aside because of the fact that, you know, she has pity for witches. Even though that's the case, she still helps the people who are actually trying to accept witches. Well, they're not trying to accept witches, they're trying to deny witches so that Beatrice can be accepted and she can regain power and so she can rejoin the game board. It's confusing.
なぜその赤を使わなかった？
Why didn't you use that red? Yeah, seriously, yeah.
ステイルメイトだからとでも言うのか？
Don't tell me it was because of a stalemate or something like that.
ノックス第2条
Oh, Nox is
探
second.
偵方法に超自然能力の使用を禁ず。
That's interesting. But why is there a supernatural agency? Is it because of the fact that Keen's being dead and then being potentially considered alive is because of magic? It is forbidden for supernatural agencies to be employed as a detective
そ
technique.
の赤き真実を私たちは直接使うことができません。
We cannot use that red truth directly.
しかし窓が交互に開かれたことはないという赤き真実を
However, I gave Cornelia, who was protecting the window.
私は窓を守っていたコーネリアに持たせていました。
What? The red truth that the window was never opened after it started raining. What?
ドーン。
But at the same time, you could have Keen's maybe could have escaped before it was raining. There was no way of possibly knowing. So I don't really think that red truth is that invalidated. Boom.
そいつでチェックメイトだ。
Let's check, mate.
どうしてあの姉ちゃんがその切り札を切らなかった？
I love that he always says that Nair-chan. Why didn't that girl use that trump card? Yeah, but I do see that. Yeah. Why didn't he? This is.
金系
Yeah, but I really don't understand why.
我が赤が破れる道理はなし。
Allow me to speak.
そなたの望み叶うことなしと知りたまえ。
Oh, that is really, really interesting. I think she talked too much, so as a result, Battler had actually proved the means before she could actually say her red truth that would completely invalidate everything that actually happened with Battler. Allow me to speak. There is no way to defeat my red. Know that your wish will not be granted. Does she have fought calmly up until that point? Oh yes, totally provoked. Yeah, she quickly got flustered when I dashed forwards. Yeah! I thought she'd be frightened by my sudden attack, but the truth was different. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Even though she held a trump card that could completely repel me. Yeah, she hadn't actually been able to say it. That's interesting. Maybe in the Witches games, it's as if it's a speedrun. Time is essential, and it really, really is important and vital to be as quick as possible, so that it's not possible for the other person to actually think of a move that could completely invalidate you, like what could have happened here. Even though she held a trump card that could completely repel me, she suddenly became unable to use it and hesitated. Yeah, seriously.
わかりません。
I don't understand.
突然あの瞬間に切り札の使用が禁じられたのです。
That's interesting. All of a sudden, in that instant, use of that trump card became forbidden. Because of the fact that in red, the window has not been broken since it has... Yeah. I mean, the window was never opened. It was broken. Could you take that out of context? It was never opened, but at the same time, it was broken. Opening a window versus dashing and breaking a window are different things. So you could either use that to your advantage or not. But at the same time, I think in this case, it's actually invalidated because of the fact that, you know, opening it is what Battler has actually done. Yeah, that does make sense. That's so lucky for Battler. That really was a lucky victory. Fuck, my DPI's gone. Ugh.
それを失った時点であなたの勝利
Yeah,
は
yeah,
約束
yeah,
されました。
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, once we lost that, your victory was guaranteed.
ゲームマス
Fair.
ラムダデルタ教の干渉でしょ
The Game Master, Lady Lambda Delta, probably interfered? What?
あいつめ
That bastard.
結局あの戦いは全てラムダデルタの手のひらでの茶番ってわ
I
け
don't really know if I trust this information. So in the end, that whole fight was a farce in the palm of Lambda Delta's hand.
俺たちはあいつの筋書き通りにお芝居をやらされたってわけだ
Yukishi is Lambda Delta? What? she made us play that entire act out according to Wesker. That is actually really, really interesting to think that the entire events and the entire intuition of Battler was actually, maybe the fact that Battler was actually saved and that he felt that literally throwing his life away for the game was actually something he could do because of the fact that he somehow subconsciously knew that it was going to be alright. And that could be because of the fact that Lambda was there. I wonder how she actually interfered. What did she do? Yeah, that is really interesting to think that no matter how hard these people play, if the Game Master doesn't actually like it, she will entirely change what you were doing. That does surprise me. Yeah, but it's just interesting that, you know, Lambda quite literally has increased chances of certainty, chances of RNG, stuff like that. Oh my god, Lambda Delta would be a god at speedrunning. Just increase all of the RNG chances. That would be really quite funny. Fair enough, yeah. That's really quite nice. And like we see here, this is a person that isn't just some sort of, you know, merciless killer doll. She really, really does have a heart. I see that, yeah. I do not like it. However, since you told me to fight with everything I had no choice but to let you know. Yes, and no matter how hard they actually fight, if the Game Master doesn't like it, then their efforts can be completely discarded. It's horrible. Please forgive me. Yeah. Still, even though you lost your trump card, you kept on fighting all out with your remaining card. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, understandable, yeah, because even when her trump card had actually gone, she still didn't give up. She still knew that the rule regarding, I think it was Nox's 8th. What was Nox's 8th? It's the fact that clues beforehand can't actually... clues that weren't presented beforehand can't be something that's used to solve the riddle. But at the same time, obviously, these clues weren't decided to be something that invalidates Battler. That's right.
むしろ余計なことをしやがってとラムダデルタを怒るべきだ
Fair enough, yeah. On the contrary, you should be mad at Lambda Delta for butting in. Yeah, Kinzo doesn't exist. Should already be an established fact. Yeah. Lady Lambda Delta and Lady Berncastle should know this well. And yet they are both leaving room for Kinzo to exist as they continue in this game. True, yeah. It's almost as though the two are conspiring to prevent Kinzo's existence from being denied. That is actually really, really interesting because of the fact that they are making it so that the human odds are actually increasing for them to win, and also the fact that they are making Kinzo trying to exist within, even though it's an established fact that he doesn't exist. That could potentially be indicative of the fact that when Kinzo has been denied, Beatrice and Battler are obviously strengthened. Battler is strengthened, I think, because of the fact that they want a better opponent and they want somebody to play better games with, really. And Beatrice is strengthened because of the fact that they want her to come back to life or maybe something like that. I don't know. But I feel like the fact that this benefits Beatrice because of the fact that it doesn't kill her from Dlanor's power, I feel like that's a motive with Lambda and Burn. I think they want Beatrice back. I feel like all of this is just a an effort to firstly make Battler more powerful and secondly to get Beatrice back. That's the most fucking awkward laugh I think I've ever done. I'm so sorry for putting you through that. It was just 1 fucking second, and now it's probably become like 13.5 seconds. I don't know. Very random guess, but you see what I mean? Now it's probably 17 or 17.5. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, I suppose so. In other words, they intentionally let grandfather escape. Yes. Agreed. They must be after something. Agreed even more. It is a bit odd, but at the same time, I think if you think about the motives I've thought about, it doesn't really make that little sense. That is a bit odd. That is true, actually, yeah. Lady Lambda Delta and Lady Burncastle should always be in opposition, unless the witch side is in a superior position. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that those two are conspiring together at a time like this. I don't think... Yeah, I can't ever think they have some sort of wicked goal. I came here because I wanted you to know that. I know, it is really surprising. So you came all the way here to tell us something like that? Yes. Which means my business here is finished. I think I will leave here now. Oh yeah, fair. The game will probably resume shortly. Fair, yeah. I must aid Erika during the rest of the game. Dlanor gulped down the last of her black tea and stood up. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Next is the battle of the second twilight. At that point, I will once again raise my merciless long sword. That's good, yeah. So, I'll ask the same of you, Battler. Fair enough, yeah, show no mercy towards me. I understand. I don't disagree. That's the funny thing. If I went easy on you, I'd have my own head smashed in. It is really, really interesting about Byrne and Lambda potentially having some sort of motive that, you know, they are actually conspiring together to produce. I really do wonder what it could be. But the thing is, when we've actually looked at any scene with Lambda and Byrne, we haven't really seen them actually forming an immense amount of opposition. Though Byrne is actually trying to deny witches and Lambda is actually making it so that, you know, magic is the thing that can only be the conclusion and is in opposition to Byrne in terms of the sides. Maybe by being the game masters together, they have some sort of ulterior motive that they want to be, even though they're enemies, they still want to both work towards. I do wonder what it could be if that's the case. Whatever it is, it's not good. I feel like maybe it could be something regarding magical power. There could be more magical power that Lambda and Byrne desire to actually incorporate, i.e. they want to make it so that witches are hard to deny as possible. So as a result, there will be more people who can join in on the game, and the game will become more interesting for them, and they'll have less boredom. That's what I think is happening. Fair, yeah. On the game board, I am nothing more than Lady Burncastle's piece and Furudo Erika's subordinate.
敵として何度も立ちはだかるでしょう。
No, I don't disagree. Yeah, in the future, we will probably stand across from each other as opponents many times.
しかし私の心は本来中立です。
However, my heart is always neutral.
いや、忘れてください。
No, please forget
そ
that.
んなことはあなたと私の関係においては何の意味もない。
Such has no meaning considering the relationship between the two of us.
あるぜ。
It does know, I agree, yeah.
強敵であることは間違いないが、あんたをムカつきはしなくなった。
That's nice. There's no doubt that you're a fierce opponent, but you don't piss me off anymore.
エリカのやつは最高にムカつくがな。
I wonder if she's actually going to say any views on Enika, though that Enika totally pisses me off.
よかった。
Good.
私もフルドエリカにはムカついています。
Damn! Furudo Enika also pisses me off. Wow. God, it is really, really funny how different you can be on the job versus off the job. That's hilarious. Even though you're in a front as professional as this. Wow. Dlanor's expression finally softened like, yeah, that really, really is nice. I really, really understand why Dlanor really is just always thinking about the fact that her heart is actually neutral and she can never really feel anything apart from, I don't really want to say no emotion, but at the same time she just doesn't really have any. I feel like what's happening is with her job, she has to obviously be emotionless and unbiased, and she has to maintain a completely neutral stance, and what her personality on the job is, it's kind of leaking into her personality outside the job, really, and it's just as if soon she will just become the personality of the person on the job, really. Yeah, and obviously we really don't want that, because that'd just be really, really sad. She does seem like a really nice person, so you don't want her to be some sort of merciless arsehole. It really impresses me that Dlanor is actually as nice as she is, because that just genuinely surprises me. I mean, when I saw her yesterday, I could never have expected that she was anything but merciless, and she literally serves Furudo Erika as well, so I just find it so funny that Erika pisses her off. Dlanor's expression finally softened slightly. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, at the very last moment it felt as though we finally understood
フ
each
ルド
other.
エリカはとても邪悪な存在です。
Fair. Yeah, Furudo Erika is a very evil entity.
先ほどの敗北で面目を潰され、復讐心にみ
True.
たぎっています。
Yeah, she's lost face with her recent defeat and is burning with a desire for
何を
revenge.
企んでいるのか、私にもわかりません。
Not anything good, potentially. Oh my god, I have an idea. I have an idea. Epitaph Golden Witch. There's my idea. You don't even have to hear any more to think about what I'm thinking. Epitaph, Golden Witch, F.R. Beatrice. Those are the three things I'm thinking. Because of the fact that she's solved the Epitaph, she will become the Golden Witch, and then she will be like F.R. Beatrice in the fact that she is just constantly desiring to cause revenge, upset, pain, torture, stuff like that. And the Eddie Carr painting, obviously. That's my basis of it. That is really interesting. I wonder what the fuck is actually going to go on. I really do.
ですが、ろくなことのわけがない。
True. Yeah, however, it can't be anything good.
してください。
Please take care.
ベルンカステルの困った時点で気
True.
を許す気はないぜ。
Just knowing she's burned Castle's peace tells me I can't let my guard down. Dlanor nodded as though satisfied, left the overhang of the arbour and walked out into the rain.
あのような邪悪の手先を務めることになろうとは。
God, yeah, to think I'd serve as a subordinate to such evil.
どうして私はこの世界に呼ばれたのか。
Why was I called to this world? Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, Dlanor seems like a really nice person and, you know, just the type of person that she just has, in general, a really quite nice personality. But the thing is, her job is so awful that, you know, it's just kind of like a nice person who is really made to do awful things. Yeah, Dlanor let out a small sigh. pieces can do nothing except fulfill the function they have been given. True. Yeah, and that function is given to them by the one who controls them. Exactly, she doesn't even have any say. That's the worst thing. Yeah, she probably can't disobey her own player, Burncastle. Yeah. Lady Burncastle might be the one who called you here. However, the one who let you into this world is Bertolt. Really? Oh, that's interesting. If this child didn't wish it, he would never have been able to make it through the garden maze and arrive here. Right, Bertolt? That's interesting. Yeah, she's not going to speak.
Miss Beatrice.
Miss Beatrice. Yeah, I really do wonder. What is it that you want from me? I do hope that I can help you in some way, though I may be a subordinate of evil. Isn't it just so horrible to think that she is a piece? She has no, ability to make a decision for herself, and yet at the same time she just has to support evil so much, even though she is literally the Inquisitor of Heresy and wants to make it so that evil, and especially the magic that obstructs any truth and, is used for bad intent. She's literally, well, she's not supporting it, but at the same time she's still, serving somebody who has a never-ending desire for revenge, really. Yeah, she spoke to Bertolt, but of course there was no response. It's so cruel. It really is. After bowing once more in thanks for her black tea, Dlanor disappeared off into the rainy rose garden. Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. Why was Angie able to reach the Golden Land, though? That really, really doesn't make much sense to me at all. So no one can reach this Golden Land if Bertolt doesn't want them to. Yeah. Why was Angie there, though? I don't understand that at all. This child is the one who called Dlanor here. So I find it really interesting to think that Beatrice is the person who has actually made it so that Battler can understand his opponent more. So Bertolt called her here because so I can meet with her. However, yeah, seriously, yeah, I know of a person who reached this place despite Bertolt's wishes. Yeah, it's Angie. In the last game, Angie reached this place by herself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even though she was an uninvited guest. Was that also something Bertolt wished for? Or maybe it could be something that Burncastle was actually overridden with her magical power. As because of the fact that she's a piece of Burncastle's. I am here, you are here. Bertolt is here. Dlanor was invited here. All of these things happened because this child wanted them to. Even the bit of time you and Dlanor spent together drinking tea. Bertolt. It's interesting. All of the stuff regarding magic, I think that is really, really essential. Bertolt, what was I supposed to learn from her? Yeah, I kind of get the impression that the whole magic stuff that Dlanor had actually discussed had a big impact on, maybe it's going to have a big impact on the magic denial, so as a result it could have an impact on defeating Lambda and Burn. Does it have something to do with finding your heart and letting you rest in peace? Dlanor A. Nox. The natural enemy of witches. Yeah, definitely. It is really quite surprising to think that that is the person that Beatrice would actually, wish into the Golden Land. Yeah, a vanguard of mystery who denies fantasy. Is she here to help? By gouging out your heart? God, that is such a brutally put thing. Yeah, and checking the life out of you. Interesting.
立ってください。
Oh God, please stand.
片足で。
On one leg? Oh no. I'm scared. Cornelia slowly. How's that? How's the? I don't know. I don't like saying Cornelia in. No, just say it like that. No, how do you say it in? Hang on. Yeah, Cornelia. Yeah. Yeah, Cornelia slowly got up and stood on one leg as she had been ordered. Her hands were clasped behind her back. Why on one leg though? Because she had been ordered to do so. Then with a thump. What? Edgar pushed her from behind with both hands. Jesus fucking Christ. Somebody's a bit of a fucking dickhead and a bad-ass loser. I don't mean a badass loser, I mean a bad-ass loser. You know, arse is just a weird way of emphasising things. I don't even understand it, it just sounds cool, so I use it. But, oh my god, that's horrible though. Jesus Christ, Cornelia landed on the floor, face first with a thud.
立ってください。
Please stand
片足で。
on one leg. What the fuck? She's gonna do it again? Cornelia rose shakily. Then, once again, she stood on one leg as she had been ordered. She had been ordered not to hold her ground. Jesus fucking Christ. So she had fallen on her face over and over again. Jesus Christ. God, poor girl. Jesus. Oh my God. She had barely managed to protect her nose. But after smashing against the floor so many times, her face was bright red. Ow. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to admit a weakness to a bully like this. Let's be honest here. Yeah, she wasn't shedding any tears. No, she couldn't shed them. Jesus Christ. Because she was forbidden to do it. Yeah, she is disgusting. No!
片足で。
On one leg. Jesus Christ, is she going to stop, like, anytime soon? Jesus. What is her
立ってくだ
problem?
さい。
No, she's still doing it! No way. This is unbelievable. Edgar repeated this falling torture over and over again. Yeah, she's not even allowed to cry, and she must be in so much pain. She's not allowed to protect her face. She's not allowed to, you know, protect. I don't even want to imagine how much that must hurt. Jesus Christ. At times like this, Edgar hated counting things. Oh no. That's ridiculous. That is so absurdly sadistic. Yes, you basically have the power, so you make it so that the people who are lower than you are completely at the mercy of your own interest. I mean, Jesus Christ, I get the fact that you're obviously, haha, special detective person, but like, oh my god, that doesn't mean you have the right to do this, and you're pissed off, but still. Oh god. However, Edika's main redeeming feature was that she never lost interest in anything, so the torture continued on and on. Edika didn't know why Gon Edgar had been unable to fully protect the window. It's because it's not even her fault the whole time since then. Oh, that's fucking horrible. Even though you literally could have thought of the thing that Battler was thinking of initially anyway. Yeah, so she had placed all of the blame of their loss on her. It's not entirely her fault, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, please save her. Well, there's nobody to speak. Yeah, forgive Cornelia. Seriously, I don't disagree whatsoever. Yes, he has already repented enough. Oh, is that true? Oh, you bastard. I knew she was going to say that. I genuinely knew it. Yeah, then please take her place from now on. God, poor girl. That must hurt so much. Yeah, but seriously, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Gertrude has done nothing wrong. Gertrude, please stand on one leg. You are so sadistic. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but the only thing is, this is the worst thing. It's unprofessional to not follow the orders of your master, so you have to do this. That's the most horrible thing about this. Gertrude followed the order. Yeah, and clasped her hands behind her back, standing on one leg. You mustn't resist or hold your ground. That's ridiculous. You are not permitted to bend your neck. That's ridiculous. Look at how absurdly cruel she sounds. You are not permitted to shed any tears. Got it. Yeah, and this is the worst thing about being the servants. They cannot refuse. God, I feel so bad, and you know shit must be serious, and you know, so absurdly painful when these people, when, you know, Gon Edgar is literally saying to Gertrude, like, you know, she's abandoning her professional duty, and, you know, she is making it so that her emotions are seeping in. Edgar made a show of walking behind Gertrude. Oh, gee. Oh, you are. Yeah, she's horrible. She's just fallen into the trap that all of the other witches fall into. Yeah, she even enjoyed making her wonder when she put... I mean, could you imagine how painful that would be as well? I mean, my fucking god. Oh, haha! That's so deserved. Yeah. Well, I wonder how Edika's going to feel if that happened to her. I hope whenever Edika gets defeated, that is, if she gets defeated, this is going to happen to her and she's going to be able to, you know, have some revenge. At that time, Gertrude and Gon Edgar burst with a bright light and disappeared. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good for her. Yeah, because Dlanor, who must have returned at some point, had sent them back to the heavens for the time being. Yeah, Edgar, who'd have her fun spoiled, gave Dlanor an openly malicious look.
Miss Edgar.
Miss Edgar. God. Yeah, and you can just see the really, really nice qualities that Dlanor actually has. You know, being a virtuous person who is willing to sacrifice herself for others. You know, making it so that other people don't have to suffer this sadist's cruelty. Edgar, I will bear the punishment for all of my subordinates' faults as their superior. Yeah, I ask that you let them go.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Why? They're literally trying their hardest. What do you even mean? Punishment only works because it causes pain. That's horrible. There's nothing interesting. Fucking hell. I thought obviously it was working in a disciplinary sense, but no, it's working in her sadistic sense. There's nothing interesting about an unfeeling dull girl that I can't leave a single injury on. Jesus. What? Edgar slowly grabbed hold of the back of Dlanor's hair, tugging unrelentingly. Dlanor's neck tilted upwards. Fucking hell.
傷はつきませんが傷つきはします。
You may not cause a physical injury, but you do injure.
あんたに傷つく心なんてあるわけもないです。
Says you, as if you had a heart that could get
魔
you
女狩り
injured.
殺人人形の分際で
Jesus, you lowly witch hunting murdered dog.
私に口答えする気ですか？
She is unbelievably unpleasant. My God. Are you trying to talk back to me?
大ベルンカステル教の使者にして分身のこの私に
Me, the envoy and double of the great lady, but... Oh my God.
いいえ、
Isn't there this just so awful? She's basically just torturing the people that are meant to be helping her because of the fact that they haven't actually done their best job and haven't fully made Eddie Carr win. It's horrible.
Oh,
that's the worst thing. Yeah, because obviously, no, I do find it really interesting that Burner's actually scolding Eddie Carr because obviously, Eddie Carr is actually trying to make it so that Battler's theories are completely contradicted and the witches are completely denied, and Keensor's existence is denied as well. It is really interesting to me that, you know, because of, even though obviously all of this is really, really horrible in terms of the intents that they have, in the end, these people are still with the same goal as Battler. It just really surprises me. I got scolded by Lady Burncastles because you guys are useless. Jesus Christ, never felt so lame in me again. God, what is she doing? Holy fuck. Yeah, so basically you've lost and then you're scolded, so it's these guys' fault. Brilliant. The hair she grabbed was stretched back as far as it would go, along with more creaking. This doesn't cause Dlanor any physical pain. Oh, yeah, that is actually really quite interesting that it didn't cause her any physical pain. It surprises me. It really, really does. Yeah, but she could clearly feel Eddie Carr's ill will. Yeah, definitely. My apologies. Forgive me. Jesus, got filth. Says you're an asshole, mate. With the sound like a bowstring being cut. Several of Dlanor's hairs were pulled out. Jesus Christ. Then Eddie Carr waved her hand about as though trying to brush something dirty that had gotten stuck onto it. Total dickhead, my God. Well, that's okay. I'm done. Good. Oh yeah, so if your anger's actually in full, then everyone else around you has to suffer. Yeah, my anger's finally settled down and my little grey cells are tingling again. That's absurd. Please call these two useless people back and reconstruct the crimes. I just genuinely can't believe the fact that, you know, these people were... It's just an entirely use and abuse scenario because of the fact that, you know, these people are lower than Eddie Guy in terms of command, but they can still... She can still use them because of the fact that, you know, that's the job of... Oh, that's the role of the game board. Right, let's start with the reasoning game. Understood. Go to Cornelia. God, yeah. As you wish. The two of them reappeared behind Dlanor and reconstructed the crime scene for Eddie Carr, the one who had... Seriously, yeah, the one who had just been tormenting them. I know, it's horrible. Isn't it just so horrible to think that, you know, Erika is just such a ridiculously selfish person? And the thing is, she is more powerful than anyone else. Because of the fact that she is a detective, she can assume authority. She can have power over everyone, as we've seen in, you know, the human part of the game board. This feeling of being above everyone else means that she has lost empathy in the people that are below her. Like any witch, basically. Kinzo's disappearance was nothing more than a bonus round after the first Twilight. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually really quite surprised that she's been able to make that connection, but I don't disagree. Yeah, because obviously there is a big question though. Where is Kraus? I wonder what she's going to say about that. Kinzo's disappearance was nothing more than a bonus round after the first Twilight. Let's start investigating the first Twilight itself. To be fair, this is actually going to be really quite interesting, so I'm happy we're reading about this. But still, I mean, I'm just genuinely so pissed off and surprised. I feel so bad for Gertrude and Cornelia. It just really surprises me to think that, you know, Dlanor and obviously the people who serve her, they must all be really quite nice people. But before we do that... Did you realise we were actually given a riddle before the murders even occurred? I just genuinely can't believe that she has been so absurdly cruel, and now she is basically making it so that these people have to aid her in her, you know, detective talking, really. It's horrible. Like I said, use and abuse. Yes. What? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, the letter with the mark of the one-winged eagle, which appeared at midnight, well, at 24:00 last night, along with a knock by some person. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. Yeah, because obviously the knock had been done by nobody whatsoever. So, who? The tale creates the illusion that the events of that instant would be impossible for any human. Yeah, because obviously, firstly, how has... It fully makes sense, by the way, the fact that Kinzo's envelopes have actually been seen here, making it seem like an unknown witch exists. Let's start by crushing this illusion of the witch. We'll first check the situation in the dining hall last night when the letter was delivered. Understood. Gertrude, Cornelia. Reconstruct last night's family conference in the dining hall. As you wish. God, they speak in unison as well, that's the weirdest thing. The family conference last night was held with the adult relatives in Batora. Oh yeah, and partway through, the servants had arrived to serve tea. Servants arriving to serve tea, are they going to pick up on that? Good. Yeah. Let's check everyone's location at the instant the letter arrived. How did that go again? Please allow me to speak. Before the family conference, Erika, George, Jessica, Maria, Nanjo, Gorda, and Kumasawa left the mansion and moved to the guest house. Yeah, so it means everyone apart from those people. No Kraus, no Natsuhi. Those are the only two people who aren't actually there. Please allow me to speak. And Genji as well, of course. Of those who remain, only Kraus, Natsuhi, and Genji were in the second floor corridor, while all the others were in the dining hall. Oh, I like this. Right. Because the family conference was proceeding and the mansion was completely locked. Yeah, all other humans were unable to enter the mansion. Uh-huh. That is fair. I mean, there was no one inside the mansion who could have knocked and placed the letter there, right? That mean there was no one inside the mansion who could have knocked and placed a letter there, right?
そうなります。
Yeah.
その人物こそが手紙を記した魔女ベアトリーチェであり、トラの女側の主張でしょう。
Yeah, the witch side will probably claim that the one who did this was the witch who wrote the letter. Beatrice! Ridiculous.
くだらないトリックです。
A stupid trick.
手紙が24時の瞬間に置かれた保証はありません。
True. That was only when they were actually notified of the letter being placed there. There's no guarantee that the letter was placed there at exactly midnight.
それ以前にもう置かれていたと考えるのが常識的です。
I see that though, yeah. It's only sensible to consider that it might have been placed there earlier. Yeah, you can't prove it.
手紙が発見されるほんの数分前にシャノンとカノンは9時に呼んで
Interesting. Do keep in mind that what is actually happening here. But I do find it really quite odd though, because if it was a servant that had actually done this, do keep in mind that Natsuhi and Kraus are actually, you know, they're obviously in a real conspiracy of their own because of the fact that they need to protect Kraus's inheritance. Maybe it could have been that Kraus has actually done this to deliberately divert the headship away from him, so as a result of that, his inheritance and all of the schemes regarding Kinzo dying may not have actually been noticed, because if Battler becomes the head, then none of Kraus's finances are going to become into significance, so maybe that could be a reasonable motive. Just a few minutes before the letter was discovered, Shannon and Kanon came into service.
2人を迎え廊下に手紙などの不審物が一切なかったことを複数が
Don't know why I just sounded like I took crack, but okay. When they entered, multiple witnesses confirmed that there was nothing suspicious like a letter in the hallway. Ah, that's tricky. Still doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't one though. What if they were looking in the wrong places?
100万人なかったクラウス、ナツヒ、ゲンジのうちの誰かが
Maybe one of those not in the parlor, Kraus, Natsuhi, or Genji.
その直後に隙を見て手紙を置いただけのことでしょう。
To be fair, that is understandable, yeah. Yeah, simply saw their chance right after that and placed the letter there.
いえいえ、ゲストハウスに行ったはずの人物でも可能です。
If the mansion was locked, yet they had a key, so, for example, the servants, they could in theory. No wait, it should be possible for the people who supposedly went to the guest house too.
屋敷は施錠され、外部の人間は入れなかったそうですが、
We heard that the mansion was locked and that no one outside could
ゲ
get
ス
in.
トハウスに戻ったふりをして、屋敷内にこっそりと隠れていた人間がいたんです。
Yes, yes. But if someone pretended to have gone to the guest house and instead hid in the
そ
mansion,
の人物が手紙を置いたとしても、何ら問題はありません。
it would have been perfectly possible for them to place that letter there.
金系
Allow me to speak.
青き真実有効なり
Blue truth, valid. God, why does Gertrude look so fucking dead? I find it really interesting that I think this is the effect of the fact that either she's really, really disciplined and she is acting in her most disciplined manner, or the fact that she just hates working under somebody as, you know, fucking cruel as Erika. Isn't it just so horrible to think that, you know, the only reason they are here is, well, at the moment, like, they have just been treated so horribly, and yet now they have to completely listen to Erika's theories and, you know, not pay any attention to how much of a horrible person she's been to them. Allow me to speak. Blue truth valid.
となると問題はノックです。
Yeah, who did it? Yeah, but at the same time, it's a knock. I don't really know because I could actually test it out. Right. Let me just try and throw something at... Oh, how can I do this without sounding completely deranged? Right. Let me try and... I want to do a little experiment. So that's a knock. Okay, it's a different sound. Sorry, I've completely murdered your ears, but here's my theory. Somebody could have maybe thrown something at the door that maybe made it sound like a knock. Just because of the fact that you heard a knock doesn't necessarily mean that a knock has actually happened. Or maybe there could have been some sort of cassette player or an MP3 player. Mystery conventions. It is prohibited for a scientific device to be used. So I think that could actually be invalid. You can't have an MP3 player playing a sound of a knock. Ha ha ha. Damn.
ノックの瞬間にその場に存在しなくてはなりません。
Unlike the letter, someone would have to exist there at the instant of the knock. Yeah.
なるほど。それこそが魔女という名のいないはずの人物が存在する証拠だと。
I see, so this is proof that the so-called person... I see, so that this is the so-called proof that a person who shouldn't be there, a witch, existed.
実にバカバカしいにも程があります。
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I mean, obviously it works with witch logic, but it does not work with human logic. This is just so ridiculous.
その程度で、このフルドエリカが屈服するとでも？
Erika has such a ridiculous ego problem. Do they think that I, Furudo Erika, would surrender to something like that? Yeah, she totally laughs like she's mad as well.
ノックが確かに食堂の扉を叩いたものなのか。
Exactly! Yeah. First off, we can doubt whether the knock was even something hitting the door to the dining hall. It could be coming from a different place, to be fair, that is understandable. What if it's a knock that's really, really loud, that's actually happening on the door that's right next to the dining hall door?
例えばですが、屋敷の構造上、2階の特定の柱を叩くと
you are good, yeah.
音が柱を伝わり。
For example, there may be a certain pillar on the second floor, which, because of how the mansion's
食
constructed...
堂の人間はあたかも扉をノックされたかのように誤認してしまうとか。
That's really, really interesting, because that would mean that anybody on the second floor can actually do it. Makes a noise when struck that gets transmitted down the pillar and that sounds just like a knock on the door to the people in the dining hall.
あるいは偶然何かの音をノックと
True, yeah.
聞き間違え、同様に誤認してしまうとか。
Or they could have misheard some random sound to be a knock, and they all misconstructed it in the same
ある
way.
いはノック音を録音したテープがこ
Wait,
っ
you
そり再生され
you
た。
can have that? What about the Nox's commandment that says no scientific device can be used? Or no device that requires further understanding from that? Oh, I don't know. Or the recorded sound of a knock could have been stealthily replayed from a
そ
tape,
れがちょうどあのタイミングで聞こえるように細工されていたのかもしれない。
which might have been carefully set up to go off exactly at that time.
いずれにせよ、扉の向こうに誰もいなくても、ノックを聞かせる方法があ
Fair,
って、
yeah. Either way, I can think of many ways to make them hear a knock, even if no one's on the other side of the door.
いくらでも考えられます。
How was that, my master?
いかがです？我が
How
主
was
我が推理。
my reasoning? Is Burn actually going to... It
だ
is!
そうだけど、いかが？
That's what she says, so what do you think?
ベルンの可愛い子が精一杯頑張って考えた青き真実みたいだから。
Yeah, definitely. Well, it looks like your cute piece gave it her all thinking up these blue
気
truths.
前よく赤き真実をサービスしちゃおっかしら。
So I guess I'll be nice and give out a few reds.
まずは手紙から行こうかしら。
I guess I'll start with this letter.
24時の大時計の鐘の時に鳴ったノック。
We have both the knock made when the bell of the large clock rang out
そ
at
して扉を
midnight,
開けたら、そこに置かれていた片翼の足の封筒の手紙。
and the letter sitting there in an envelope bearing the one-winged eagle crest when the door was opened.
100万人 かった人間がこっそりと廊下に置いていったの
Definitely,
だ
yeah.
ろうという想像は実に王道よね。
It's so obvious to suspect that the people who weren't in the parlor secretly placed the letter there, right? Yeah, yeah,
フ
yeah,
ラ
you...
ンス、夏日、源氏の3人
Oh,
は
that's
その手紙
interesting.
に触れてさえいない。
Klaus, Natsuki and Genji did not even touch that letter. Could potentially mean that maybe somebody in there should actually be having ties with Natsuhi then. So I think it could most likely be a servant when they were on tea duty.
じゃあ
Or maybe they actually put the letter there before they were on tea duty. No, sorry, they were... One of them was somehow... One of them was pushing the tea cart, and then another one had actually made it so that the letter went on the floor, and then they'd opened the door. The tea cart had maybe gone over the letter, so it had actually concealed it, and then the door had been quickly shut, so nobody noticed it.
シャノン・カノンが救助に訪れて扉を閉じる瞬間に
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
最後に食堂に入った最後尾の人間は誰？
When Shannon and Conon came in to serve tea, who was the last human to enter the dining
例
hall?
えばカノンとか
Let's say it was Conon.
最後尾のカノンが扉を閉めるとき
Seriously, yeah.
こっそりポトリと手紙を落とせば簡単じゃない。
Let's say it was Conon. Wouldn't it be easy if Conon, the last person in, secretly dropped the letter there when he closed the door? Yeah.
食堂の全員の誰も
What?
いえ、もっとシンプルな言い方をするわ。
Not a single person in the dining hall. No, there's a simpler way to say it.
24時の時点で
There's this. I love that this can be said in red, by the way. Among all those inside the mansion at midnight.
あの手紙を廊下に置いた者はいないの。
What the fuck? Not a single person placed that letter in the corridor. Oh, that's really, really interesting. So at midnight. So no letter was actually placed in
触れた者はい
midnight
ない
time.
という言い方はできないわけ。
So you can't say that no one touched it.
そりゃそうでしょ。
Obviously.
彼らは拾って触れたわ。
They touched it when they picked it up.
触れてないとまでは言えるわけない。
Of course I couldn't say that none of them touched it.
なる
That is interesting. Yeah, because obviously if you admitted the fact that somebody did actually place the letter there, then you would be, you know, accepting of witches. No, sorry, if somebody didn't place the letter there, you'd be accepting of witches, which they can't do. God, this fucking hate. So nobody actually played in red. Nobody actually placed the letter inside the corridor, which actually means that there is no way it could have been placed there at midnight. So even if it was a human culprit, it was actually done before. Then let's interpret it this way.
24時の時点で屋敷外に存在した何者かがあらかじめ手紙を廊下以外の場所に置いたんだ。
Yeah, definitely, I agree. That is really, really interesting that, yeah, someone who existed outside of the mansion at midnight placed a letter somewhere other than the hallway beforehand.
そして何らかの方法でそれが移動して最終的に廊下に置かれた。
Yeah, this is what I'm missing. So nobody actually placed the letter in the corridor. So that is reasonable to think that somebody could have placed the letter beforehand and then another person could have moved it. Or maybe that same person could have moved it. I don't know. Yeah, it could have been moved. I see that.
仮の想像ですが、例えば使用人たちが押してきた。
Yeah, definitely, yeah, because obviously then it wouldn't have been placed in the hallway initially, but yeah, it would have been moved to the hallway. Yeah, just as an example, let's say it was stuck to the bottom of the servant cart, the servants were
お茶
pushing.
の道具を積んだ配膳車の下部の裏側に貼り付けられていたとか。
Yeah, that's fair, yeah, it was simply glued there in a way that would make it come unstuck after a certain amount of
そ
time.
れは時
True,
間が経てば
yeah.
剥がれてしまうような簡単な接着。
Yeah, I see that, yeah, when it eventually fell off, it became the letter left behind by a witch, who
そ
shouldn't
れ
have
がやがて
existed.
剥がれ落ちて存在しないはずの魔女が置いていった手紙となる。
In other words, this is a
つまり
classic trick.
時間差で手紙が現れるようにすることで真の差出人がその
Yeah,
時刻にアリバイ
fair,
を作ろうとする古典的トリックです。
Well, the true sender gives themselves an alibi by making the letter appear at a different time. This is key information. Fuck, I don't know if it actually screenshots it. It did. Right. Angie? Not Angie. Well, kind of Angie because she investigated it. June 9th. It's not fucking June 1983. Dude, that was like a year ago. Oh my fucking god. The letters that had no recipient but at the same time were named to the senders. What if this is the intent? Somehow. I don't know. Yeah, let me just speak.
真実有効なり
I agree, yeah.
「ちょうど都合よく食堂の扉の前に落ちたのは犯人にとって幸運だっただけと
Fair,
いう
yeah.
こと。
In other words, the fact that it landed just outside the dining hall door was just the culprit's good luck.
下手を
Fair.
すればそこは厨房か廊下かはたまた食堂の中だったかもしれま
Yeah,
せん。
that is reasonable. Yeah, at worst, it might have happened in the kitchen, the corridor, or even inside the dining hall.
グッド
Oh, good.
食堂の中ならば随分と素敵ですね。
If it had happened inside the dining hall, that would have been even more
全
wonderful.
員の監視の中突然床
Oh,
に
yeah,
手紙が現れる。
Within everyone's sight, a letter would suddenly appear on the
食
floor.
堂という密室に忽然とその場の誰も触れていないという赤を維持したまま。
And that wouldn't even violate a red truth saying no one in the closed room of the dining hall touched the letter unexpectedly.
お見事です。
Yeah, well done.
配膳車の下部に手紙を貼り付ける行為なら誰が犯人でも可能です。
Yeah, but that is fair. Yeah. If that letter was stuck to the bottom of the serving cart, then anyone could be the cult. I see, yeah.
手紙についてはまずね。
That might work okay regarding the letter.
でもそれと同じ論法がノックについても通用するかしら。
Fair, yeah. Yeah, however, well, that same type of argument applies to the knock as well.
じゃあもう一度同じやり取りをしようかしら。
Let's try this again, shall we?
どうぞ。
Let's go ahead.
クラウス、夏日、源氏の3人はノックをしていない。
Yeah, that is tricky. Neither Kraus nor Natsuhi nor Genji knocked.
これは扉だけはノックしていないという限定的な意味じゃないわよ。
This isn't the limited meaning of them knocking on the door, okay?
音が伝わる
right.
柱だろうと録音したカセットテープの再生ボタンだろうと
God.
そのノック音を生み出したことは断じてないという意味。
Yeah, so we can just basically say fuck off to, Natsuhi, Kraus, Genji.
無論 直接的にも間接的にも意図的にも偶発的にも無意識的にもね。
Of course, this applies to direct, indirect, intentional, coincidental, and unintentional means. Wow. Proper clarification. But at the same time they didn't. What if somebody else had done so? I really think that the best theory to actually latch onto would be the fact that, you know, somebody could have potentially stayed in the guest house, in the mansion, and had lied to go into the guest house, because that means there was an extra person who could be roaming around and they could do anything. Infinite alibi if you do that. The witch has already been knocked in, but I'll repeat it. Maybe someone other than Kraus, Natsuhi, or Genji made that knock. Fair, yeah, or else a sound that could be misidentified as a knock. But, yeah, look. That's why that last part can't be valid. Please allow me to speak.
24時の時点で2階廊下にいたクラウス、夏日、源氏の3人と
Let it be known that at midnight, excepting Kraus, Natsuhi, and Genji in the second floor corridor and all of the people in the dining hall.
食堂にいた全員以外の一切の人間は屋敷内に存在しなかった。
Jesus
申し上げ
Christ.
立てまつる。
Yeah, that's bad. No humans existed inside the mansion.
近景慎んで申し上げる。
Please allow me to
ク
speak.
ラウス、夏日、源氏の3人に加
Oh,
え、食堂の
Jesus.
全員もまたノ
Yeah,
ックしていないと
that is reasonable,
申
yeah.
し上げる。
Let it be known that in addition to Kraus, Natsuhi, and Genji, none of those in the dining hall knocked on that
こ
door.
のノックとはノック音を生み出す直接的、間接的、意図的、無意識的、偶発的な全てを含めるものなり。
Right, in this sense, knock includes all the direct, indirect, intentional, unintentional, and coincidental events that could create a knocking sound. A direct knock refers to someone literally hitting a door to making a knocking sound. An intentional knock refers to somebody creating a fake knocking sound to try and make it appear that someone knocked. An unintentional knock refers to someone unintentionally creating a fake knocking sound. Yeah. A coincidental knock refers to some kind of coincidence creating a fake knocking sound.
つまり
It's literally
屋
just
敷
common
にいた
sense.
人物全員がノ
But
ッ
yeah.
ク音の発生源とはなり得ないという意味です。
Sure, this means it was impossible for any character within the mansion to be the source of it. I know, yeah! Yeah.
そしてこの全員とは誰も把握していない観測されていない人物であったとしても含みます。
Yeah, that's bad. And any character refers even to unobserved people that no one has noticed. Anyone who was in the mansion would also include any unknown person oh fuck yeah, who had snuck into the mansion. True. Yeah, therefore, it literally meant it was impossible for anyone inside this mansion to knock. Yeah, with no wordplay allowed. That's really surprising.
なるほど。
I see.
どうひっくり返そうとも、いわゆるゲストハウス組にしかノックオンの生成は不可能。
Yeah, that's fair. No matter how much I toy with it, it's impossible for anyone except those in the guest house group to create the knocking sound, right? But how would they actually do it?
例えば私
Like me, for
こ
example.
の古田エリカがカセットテープにノック音を録音し
What if I, Furudo Erika, recorded a knocking sound on a
それ
cassette
をど
tape?
こかにこっそり仕掛けちょうど24時頃に再生される
Yeah,
よ
but
うな
that is fair. That is
仕掛けを
reasonable to
施した
think
ので
that that could have happened, and you could say that it's a devil's proof the actual existence of the cassette tape. So you can maybe have the argument, but at the same time, then that can be countered. The thing is about the devil's proof, they can always be counteracted with red, and use some kind of secret contraption to start it playing at exactly
もち
midnight.
ろん24時の時点では屋敷にはいないわけです
Yeah, so that would actually be valid on the red truth. The fact that no one in the mansion had created the knocking sound. Of course, I wasn't in the mansion at
こ
midnight.
れなら何も問題ないじゃないですか
There aren't, though. I don't disagree. Yeah, there aren't any problems with this, aren't
問
they?
題ないです
No
し
problems.
かし扉の前に
No
手紙
valid
があれば
truth.
こそ
Oh.
ノックがその存在を教えるきっかけとなりますが
However, though the knock did serve as a way of informing them about the letter on the other side of the door,
もし厨房などに手紙が落下していたらノックは手紙の存在を教えるものにはならなかったように思います
fair, yeah, how did they know? That is a good point. Yeah, I do not think it would have worked if the letter had fallen elsewhere. Yeah, I don't disagree. Oh, you bastard. True. If the trick in Eddie's theory about the letter being stuck to the serving cart was accurate, then the location that the letter fell was a matter of luck. What if you had some sort of controlled contraption that made it so that it was a select amount of time, but at the same time you can never predict it? I was thinking maybe like you could have some sort of blue tack that if you fitted to some sort of way, it would have a fixed time in which it would take to go down, but at the same time you can never exactly predict the amount of time that it would take for them to go there. It is a tricky question. You can't set it up. Yeah, you could still argue because of the fact that it is luck. It has happened. This would win in a witch logic battle, I think. Because it had fortunately fallen near the door, the people in the dining hall noticed it due to the knock. Yeah. However, the location it fell was a matter of chance. It might have landed in the far-off kitchen or remained stuck even after they entered. Yeah, exactly, yeah. If that had happened, the knock would have been ignored as though they just imagined it. Yeah, definitely, yeah. In other words, the knock by itself wouldn't transmit any message at all. Yeah. It only made it appear as though someone had been there because it was paired with the letter. Yes. In that case, the random location the letter fell to off the bottom of the serving cart couldn't be connected with the knock. For the letter to be found thanks to the knock, it would, it would have to be reliably positioned on the other side of the door. But the thing that I really don't understand about this is obviously it would make sense if there was somebody who was actually in cahoots with Erika that could potentially be moving the, cassette tape or just means of knocking so that Erika can actually knock. But at the same time, the thing that doesn't make sense is nobody has actually, moved it in the mansion, so you can't use that argument whatsoever. However, it was announced in red that no one in the mansion placed the letter in the hallway. Yeah, fair, yeah.
この廊下に置いた という赤ももっと細かく言い直すわ。
I reword that word about placing it in the corridor a bit.
屋敷内の誰一人手紙を廊下に置いた者はいない。
No one in the mansion placed the letter in the hallway.
それは直接的、間接的、意図的、偶発的、無意識的、すべての概念だよ。
Yeah, this includes doing so by all concepts such as directly, indirectly, intentionally, coincidentally, and
例
unintentionally.
えば配膳車に停車すると手紙が落ちるという仕掛けがあったと仮定する。
For example, let's assume there was a device on the serving cart that drops the letter when it...
食堂の扉でノックするために一度
When
停
it
車
stops
する
moving.
だろうことが事前に予見できるから、うまいこと扉の前に手紙を落とせるように思えるかもしれない。
In this case, you think they could predict that the cart would probably stop just once when the two knocked on the door to the dining hall, and by doing so, they'd be cleverly making it so that the letter drops right in front of the door.
し
Yeah,
かしこれもダメなのよ。
but even this doesn't work,
配
okay?
膳車を停車させることが廊下に手紙を置くという行為を間接的に示してる。
The action of stopping the serving cart would indirectly lead to placing the letter in the hallway.
よってこれでは台車を押していたシャノンとカノンが間接的に無意識に置いたことになってしまう。
Yeah, that makes sense. That means Shannon and Kanon, who were pushing the cart, had indirectly and unintentionally placed the
だ
letter
から
there.
これもダメ。
So even this is no
さ
good.
らに言うと時間が経てば剥がれて落ちる仕掛けも
So even though... So, even, this is no good. Furthermore, setting it up so that the letter peeled off with the passage of
そこ
time.
まで配膳車を押した人間によって偶発的に
Yeah, fair.
無意識に置いたことになってしまう。
Yeah! Would mean that the people pushing the serving cart had coincidentally and unintentionally placed the letter
も
there.
ちろんこれもダメ。
Of course, this is also no good.
副賞要求
I do wonder if this entirely... if this entirely invalidates the theory about the serving cart. I don't know. Before I want to think about any theories, I want to see what Burns got to say. And Lambda's response, obviously. That's really interesting. So if you actually stop the serving cart and then the letter goes down, it indirectly leads to placing it into the hallway. Yeah, it does make sense, I mean. But at the same time, this is my question. If, you know where you have a door and then you just have the little bit of the door that kind of, the little bit of, oh, I forgot what the terminology for it was. But, so let me just draw this, let me just find an image here. Oh, can we get like one that has distinguished colours? No, I don't think so. Right, that's fine. This can still give a reasonable explanation as to what I'm thinking about. Right, so let's imagine that the letter was dropped around where my mouse is. So just barely, so that it's out of, let's say this is the hallway and this is the dining room. It's out of the hallway. It's dropped right in between the frame of the door and where the dining hall actually is. So what if it's dropped just under the door? Is that still considered it being in the hallway? Could the serving cart, in theory, drop the letter just under the door's frame and then not be considered as dropping it in the hallway? But at the same time, then we've got to think about the luck aspect. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. That could win in a witch's logic battle, but it can't win here. No way. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Repeat it.
24時の時点で屋敷以外に存在するのは
Ooh, this is
エリ
going to be
カ、
interesting.
ジョージ、ジェシカ、マリア、ナンジュ、ゴーダ、熊沢のみである。
At midnight, only Erika, George, Jessica, Maria, Nandor, Gorda, Kumasawa existed outside of the mansion. What if someone in the dining hall didn't exist in the mansion right at midnight? Yeah. Yeah, for example, what if they'd slipped out of a window just before? With this wordplay, it might be possible to get around the red truth. Yeah, because obviously nobody inside the mansion could. Nobody inside the mansion could have actually delivered the letter, but at the same time, if someone in the dining hall... Yeah, that does make sense. So they place the letter and then they slip by and they go out of a window, so they're not in the mansion, so the red truth is still valid. I see that. Repeat it. Oh, that's hard. Oh my god, even though I'm nice enough to give you all of this red for free, aren't you being a bit greedy? Yeah, that's really, really tricky. And it is really interesting to think that Lambda's refusal to actually repeat this means that there could potentially be somebody who's in the guest house who has done it. I don't think it's Eddie Carr. I don't think it's anybody who was literally killed. At the same time, though, we have no way of knowing. Jessica, even though she is really, really innocent, or at least she seems innocent, she does have connections with the head of the family, so maybe there could be some sort of idea there. I don't know. Dlanor obviously couldn't have done it. What about the servants? I mean, we naturally think the servants could potentially be involved in something because of the fact that they are within Natsuhi's, reach, really, but who knows? Haha, so I won't go around saying everything my opponent tells me to repeat. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. No. If this actually works, I'll give you a full body massage in a bath with marshmallows and competo sometime. That is so weird. Enough to rub your skin off? What the fuck? Now you've got to keep that promise. No! Oh my god. So you've basically just got to get Lambda to be simped out of a problem. Boom. Then she will actually give up to your desires. That's absurd. Okay, then here's a freebie. I'll respond. At midnight, only Erika, George, Jessica, Maria, Nandor, Gorda, and Kumasawa existed out of the mansion. That still is valid because of the fact that somebody could have potentially... Firstly, outside of the mansion doesn't mean in the guest house. Secondly, it means that somebody who has actually gone out of there, they could have, before midnight, delivered the letter, and then they could have got out, or they don't even have to necessarily have, got back into the guest house. Because of the fact that it says outside the mansion. They could literally be, I don't know, chilling in the Rose Garden for all we know. In other words, no matter how much they struggled, those 8 people, including Erika, could not have existed inside the mansion, much less in front of the door. Oh, really? And at the same time, no matter how much they struggled, those inside the mansion could not have existed outside the mansion. Yeah. I've got this totally wrong then. That's hilarious. Yeah, but that is actually really quite interesting, that. In that case, the letter might have been stuck to the ceiling of the hallway instead of the serving
廊下
cart.
の天井は案外高いから堂々と貼り付けてあっても誰も気づかないかもしれない
Ceiling of the hallway is surprisingly high, so even if you just stuck it there out in the open, maybe
こ
no
れ
one would
なら
notice it.
廊下に落ちるのは確定的
This way, it would certainly fall into the corridor. Yeah,
そして
not
そ
in
れ
the
を
hallway.
屋敷外の人物が行ったなら赤も潜れる
Fair, yeah, this way. It would certainly fall into the corridor, and you can slip by the red if someone outside the mansion did this.
私
You're a bit egotistical. You...
金系
Ooh.
謹んで申し上げる
Please allow me to
廊
speak.
下天井に手紙が存在したことはなきなり
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Good. No way. What a bloody X. The letter never existed on the ceiling of the
金
hallway.
家謹んで申し上げる
Please allow me to
配
speak.
膳者に手紙が触れたことはなきと知りたまえ
Wow. I'm surprised that she's actually allowed to say that. No, that the letter never touched the serving cart.
知らないですそんなこと
But you literally just made that theory and then you're saying who cares about it.
「とにかく屋敷以外の人間が何かのトリックであそこに手紙を置いてみせたんです」
Anyway, some human outside the mansion used some kind of trick to place the
あの
letter
手
there.
紙とノックでベアトリーチェを存在させようなどという目論みはこのフルドエリカには断じて通用しません
If you try to use that letter and the knock to argue that Beatrice exists, it definitely won't work on Furudo
金
Erika.
系謹んで申し上げる
Please allow me to speak.
屋敷以外の全員は親族会議開始後屋敷内にて何を行うことも不可能なり
It was impossible for anyone outside the mansion to influence anything inside the mansion after the family conference began. So obviously it's not done at midnight, and it's also done before the family
じゃ
conference
あ
then.
親族会議以前に屋敷以外の何者かが
That would
何ら
make
かの
even
仕掛け
more
を
sense
施し
because
た
obviously then it would be really, really hard for somebody to actually be able to go to. So it would be really hard for somebody to be able to. Well, for somebody to break in really, and somebody just to have some sort of unauthorized or secretive entrance into the mansion. Yeah, then someone outside of the mansion set up some kind of device before the family conference. So it's not on the serving cart, it's not on the ceilings. You've just got to really have creative thinking here.
天井と配膳者以外でです
Yeah, something other than the ceiling or the serving cart.
金系青木真実向こうなりや
Oh, interesting. Hmm. Why?
それしかないでしょ
That's the only way,
天井
right?
と配膳者以外の何かに屋敷以外の誰かが何か仕掛けをしたのよ
That is reasonable, yeah. Someone outside the mansion used some kind of device other than the ceiling or the serving cart.
金家
Allow me to speak.
その何かを特定もしくは仮定せぬ限り青木真実とは認められぬものなり
Oh, right. Allow me to speak. Unless you can specify or theorize as to what that something might be, your blue truth will not be makes sense, yeah. Allow me to speak. So what Erika is saying could potentially be reasonable, but because of the fact that she hasn't actually specified what the device is,
手
it can
紙
fuck
に
off.
ついてのエリカ教の青き真実は全て失われたものなの
Fair enough, yeah. Yeah, all of Lady Erika's blue truths regarding the letter have been lost. Fair.
全て失われたです
Never been lost, you say?
言い方にもう少し気を使ってください使えない家具の皆さん
Says you? They're literally helping you! Watch your tongues a bit more, useless
その仕
furniture.
掛けを思いつきさえすれば即座にチェックメイトなんです
Yeah, fair enough actually. If I can just think of that device, it's an instant checkmate.
それを全て失われた青き真実は無効この探偵
フルドエリカによくもそんな口を。
Somebody really, really has an ego problem. Jesus Christ. You want to have the best intuition possible. You do not only consider yourself, you consider what other people are validly saying to you, and then you change your own fucking intuition. You may be really, really smart, but if you can't adapt your intuition and you can't use other people's thinking and you can't accept other people, then it's as if, well, you will be smart and you'll still be able to have a lot of thinking power, but still it won't be nearly as good as if you could actually do all of those things. Come on, Eddie Carr, you're falling for beginner mistakes. Edika's face twisted. These words seem to deny Edika's reasoning were the worst form. Oh, yeah, fair enough, actually. Yeah. Were the worst form of torture and humiliation for her.
Miss
Yeah.
Erika.
Miss Erika.
手紙の謎は一度保留してはいかがです。
You really think that she's gonna give up? Miss Erika, why don't we postpone the riddle with the letter for now?
ノックの推理。屋敷以外の何者かがカセットテープなどで聞かせたとする青きくさびは未だに有効です。
Fair, yeah, your blue stake about someone outside the mansion playing it with a cassette tape is still valid. This is the thing that's really, really bad about the game. It quite literally is a gamble. It's double or nothing. You find a theory that makes it so that you can get loads of blue truths from it and blue wedges, or you play more, you get more red, which actually has the effect of contradicting your current theory.
手紙もまた不可能ではないはず。
If it was possible for sound, then perhaps it wasn't impossible for a letter as well. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, is Erika made to grab and pull back? Jesus fucking Christ. You are so horrible. I just feel so sorry for these people. They're doing their best, and yet this is what they're having to put up with. As Erika made to grab and pull Gertrude's hair, Dlanor stopped her with those words. Good, yeah.
そうです。ノックについては私の青き真実、未だ有効なはずです。
That's right, my blue truth regarding the knock is still valid.
すべてを否定されてなんていません。
Yeah, it's not true that everything has been
我が
denied.
主、手紙の謎は必ずや解いてみせます。
Master, I will solve the riddle with the letter without fail,
お
will
時
you?
間の猶予をお許しください。
Please allow me to postpone that for now.
しかし、ノックの謎については確かにここに。
I do wonder what her final conclusion is actually going to be. However, I will definitely figure out the riddle of the knock here.
屋敷以外の人物がカセットテープなどでノック音を聞かせる仕掛けを施したとする青きくさびでうがちました。
I think you at the blue stake that someone outside the mansion set things up with a cassette tape or something to make a knock sound play.
本当に可愛い子ね、ベルンの駒は。
You really are a cute kid. A piece of burns.
本当にけなげだわ。
Lots of
と
spunk.
りあえず2つの謎のうち1つは降参だけど1つは解けたからお許しをって叫んでる。
Anyway, Erika's yelling that you forgive her because she solved one of the two riddles, even though she resided on the
許
other.
してあげる？
So will you forgive her? I don't feel she
そう
is.
ね。
Oh, I'm impressed. Sure.
私の駒の分際で降参なんて恥さらし絶対に許せないところだけど、
Normally, I'd never forgive my own peace for the shame of surrendering.
一つは解いてみせたのなら今回は多めに見てあげようかしら。
Fair, yeah. Burn sounds like a really, really mean master. Wow, but if you've managed to solve one of the riddles, I guess I'll let it slide for now.
我が主。
My master. When Burncastle said she'd let it slide. Oh, yeah, understandable, yeah, because obviously, if she was challenged more and more, then it would be, like I said, double or nothing. Yeah, when Erika said she'd let it slide, Burncastle said she'd let it slide. Burncastle. What? Wait, what? Then it's time to get punished, Erika-tan. Oh, yeah, give her some sort of taste to what she's done to her servants.
すべての人物はノック音を誤認することはない。
Well, yeah, it still could have been Wait, hang on a second. Does that mean that a knock was objectively the thing that made it? Oh my fucking god. None of the characters misidentified a knocking sound.
へえ
Oh,
何それ
what's that supposed to mean?
ノック音を誤認しないということは
Oh my god, right, this is going to make everything entirely fall apart, isn't it? Misidentifying a knocking sound means
ノッ
this.
ク音によく似た他の音をノック音と勘違いしたりはしないということよ
So it was only the real thing then? How the fuck? Misidentifying a knock sound means this. They would not mistake a sound very similar to a knocking sound for a real
柱
knocking
を
sound.
叩くとノックに似た音がするなんてのもアウト
Hitting a pillar to make something similar to a knocking sound is no
ノッ
good.
ク音をカセットテープに録音したとしてもそれはもはやノック音を録音したテープの音であってノック音ではない
Jesus Christ. In red as well. When you record a knocking sound on a cassette tape and play it back, it becomes the sound of the tape with a knocking sound on it, and not a knocking sound. So that's not good either.
つまり実際にあの扉を叩いたノック音を全員は正確に識別し
In other words, every one of them would correctly recognize a knocking sound of something truly hitting on the
絶
door,
対に聞き間違いないということよ
and they definitely wouldn't
あ
mishear
の
it.
扉を直接叩く以外のあらゆる音をノックと誤解することは絶対にありえないということ
It's totally impossible that any sounds except hitting the door directly would be misinterpreted. That's fucking bad. Oh my god.
そんな
Yeah, somebody's a little bit destroyed. What
で
the?
もそれじゃあの24時の鐘の音の時扉を叩ける人物が
But that means at the time the bell sounding midnight went
存
off.
在しないことになるじゃありませんか
That is really, really weird. No, that is genuinely weird because obviously at midnight no one can actually knock the door, and it has literally been proclaimed in red. But at the same time there has been a knock, and there can't be any external means. The only thing that has knocked it is a pure knock. What the fuck? That is so weird. But the only thing is now I would be inclined to think about the scientific device, but that violates, I think it's the 7th commandment of knocks or something like that, so you can't use that. Yeah, that is so weird. I just genuinely wonder how you actually deny
存在
this.
しないわよ
Yeah, but they don't exist.
だって黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが叩いたんだもの
After all, the Golden Witch Beatrice hit it.
つまりあの扉を叩く以外ごまかしようはないってことね
So in other words, there's no way to make it work unless you actually hit the door.
ならこういうの
Yeah,
は
seriously,
どう
yeah. Ooh, so what about this?
扉をノックしてくれる何かの仕掛けとか
Knox's commandments, though, you've got to think about those. There was some kind of device that could knock on the door.
自動のドアノッカーみたいな仕掛けがあってそれによって手を触れずにノックする
Actually,
こと
never
が
mind.
できた
Yeah.
とか
Pressure plates! There was something like an automatic door knocker, and that made it possible to knock without touching the door with your hands.
ノックは人が手で扉を叩くものよ
Here's the best one. Dismember a hand, put it on the automatic device, make it so that the device is hitting it with their hand. Fully valid, I'm sure. Very legal as well. To knock means someone hitting a door with their hand,
仕
right?
掛けで叩いたなんて認めないわ
Yeah, that is tricky. That is really tricky. I won't accept hitting it with some device.
24時の鐘の時にノックが聞こえたわ
They heard a knock at the same time as the midnight bell.
その時食堂の人物全員が確かにそれを聞いたわ
At that time, everyone inside the dining hall definitely heard it.
そして彼らは誰もノ
Yeah,
ッ
that's
ク
the
音を
worst
誤認しない
And none of them misinterpreted a
フ
knocking
ラン
sound.
ス、夏日、源氏の3人はノックに関わっていない
This just seems like such a dead end. This is just the really, really crazy thing. It's just one of those series where you don't understand how the hell you can actually accept witches here. Sorry, deny witches. Perhaps Natsuhi and Genji were not involved with the making of a
それ
knocking
以外
sound.
の人物は
So
誰も
tricky.
屋敷内に存在もしない
No one existed inside this mansion. Yeah, exactly.
そしてノックは直接扉の前に立ち
Yeah.
手で扉を叩く行為を指す
And knock refers to the action of standing directly in front of the door and hitting it with your
ね
hand.
えベル
Hey, Bird.
どう 私の赤は。
It's completely fucking
ま
deadly.
だ第一の番以前なのになかなかシンプルで遊びがいがあるでしょ。
Oh my god, I know. Yeah, don't you think this is pretty simple and simple and enjoyable despite being before the first Twilight?
黄金の魔女はノックの音とともに静かに降臨。
The Golden Witch made her graceful appearance with a knocking sound. Her laugh, my god. Oh, I wonder what she's going to say. Has she potentially found something?
面白いわ。本当に面白いわ、ラムダ。
Interesting, this really is riveting,
こ
Lambda.
うでなくっちゃ。
Wouldn't have it any other way.
ああ、面白い。
So amusing. The two witches doubled over laughing, as though this is the most fun thing in the world. I just find it really, really interesting to think that they have such a bond, even though this blue truth and the red truth could have potentially completely defeated Burncastle and completely made her unable to actually make a theory that could deny witches. She is just laughing. And to be fair, maybe she actually has a theory reserved, I don't know. Yeah, my god, isn't it just so interesting to think that even though these people are on opposing sides, they really, really are acting as one. It is odd. It is odd.
若主、
My master,
ご安心よ。
don't worry.
その程度の赤、我が灰色の脳細胞は時間さえ与えられれば必ず
Will you?
や答えを導き出してみせます。
My master, don't worry. If you give me a little... If you give my little grey cells some time, I definitely will reach an answer to this pitiful red.
あんたなんて所詮は子が
You're nothing but a lowly piece.
いてもいなくても私がゲームを進めるには支障がないのだから
Your absence wouldn't hinder my progress in the game in the slightest.
特に推理が思いつかないならおとなしく駒置き場にでも戻って誇りをかぶって
Jesus! If you can't think of any theories in particular, please just go back to the peace tray and gather dust or something.
使えない駒は記憶に留めるのも苦痛だわ
Fucking hell, you can just be so rude about somebody's entire life just because of the fact that they aren't fully, you know, up for it. I mean, my god, these people have such ridiculously high standards, and, you know, if you don't have those same high standards, you are bloody useless.
ゲームは
There is no
忘れっぽ
point
い
of
か
you.
らね。
After all, Burns pretty
あ
forgetful.
んたもうちょっと頑張らないとゲームに
Jesus
忘れられちゃうわよ。
Christ. That's so horrible. Yeah, it's just as if she's never made any effort whatsoever. They're just completely disregarding anything that she's actually made. To be fair, I get that Eddie Carr does deserve it because she's a fucking asshole. But at the same time though, I mean, my god, isn't it just so absurd to think how ridiculous these pieces are treated? I mean, Angie, for example, she did nothing wrong. She was reduced into an Umineko meme. You know, the Angie burger. Even though she was a bloody human being beforehand. Total mincemeat.
忘却の駒置き場で永遠に埃にまみれながら決して来ぬ出番を待つのって。
That is so unbelievably brutal. Yeah, you'll collect dust in that forgotten peace trap. Jesus, yeah, awaiting your turn that will never come.
とっても辛いと思うけれど。
Seriously though, yeah, isn't it just really interesting to think that there are so many witch-related games that, you know, you have to play them for your life, really. I imagine that would be pretty harsh, don't you think?
ご安心よ。大ラムダデルタ教、そして我が主。
Isn't it? It's just so horrible to think that these people were just being totally bribed and forced and bullied into playing well. Don't worry, Lady Lambda Delta, I'm my
必
master.
ずやお気に入りいただくことができるよう、二度と失望させぬ活躍を約束いたします。
I promise that I'll keep you entertained and never let you down again.
あら、さすがは私の分身ね。頼もしいわ。
Oh, how reassuring. I guess you're my double after
な
all.
ら本当に頑張ってね。いろいろと。
Then make sure you really are giving it your all in more ways
あ
than
まり
one.
活躍がないと私、あなたのこと 忘れちゃうかもしれないんだから。
That's bad. If you don't make an impact, I might forget all about you. Interesting. As the two witches giggled, they continued discussing the letter and the knock. Yeah, that is interesting. There was no room for Edika to step in. If she contented herself with that, she would literally have no place to go. And would be buried. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And in an eternal oblivion. Yeah, that is so tricky. It really is. Yeah, Edika endured this with a hideous expression. Oh, yeah, I see that, yeah. Looking at shame. With shame at the back of the master who ignored her. Yeah, isn't it just genuinely so horrible to think that, you know, now Byrne, just because of the fact that she hasn't actually been able to come up with the theory, has, you know, considered Edika just to be somebody who has no significance whatsoever, and it's as if she isn't even there, and, you know, she's not letting her play her game. She has to fully make the effort herself. I mean, my god, this is just such a high standard you have to constantly maintain, and it's just such a brutal result if you don't actually maintain this standard. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. Yeah, isn't it just so horrible to think that you have to be under the service of such absurdly brutal and cruel masters, and if you don't, then if you're not under the service of them, then, you know, you can just gather dust. You can never exist. You can probably just live like a brain-dead existence for the entirety of your life, with no purpose, no point, no nothing. And with both fists clenched, she thought frantically in search for some kind of breakthrough. Yeah, I'm the detective. I'm Fuduro Edika. I am the peace and double and servant of the great Lady of Berncastle. Yeah. I'll definitely make her satisfied. Will she? Definitely. She's thinking she's too stressed. Yeah. Ushidomi Abatora. How dare you? Humiliate me. Oh, it's not his fault, it's your own fault. And she stood there, ignored by the witches and shrouded in darkness. I see that, yeah. It looked like someone had told her to go stand alone, all alone in the hallway. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder what's actually going to happen now. Are we going to get the second Twilight Murders? I wonder. The thing is about Edika, I mean, she definitely really needs to try so that she can gain approval of her master. But at the same time, you know, there is only so hard she can try. Maybe it's just luck sometimes. Sometimes searching for the right answer, it is just genuinely luck. Let's just pray that she actually has good luck. Well, to be fair, Berncastle literally controls luck, so yeah, if you don't have her on your side, then yeah, well, Lambda and Byrne, they both have different angles of controlling luck, really. Just have a little break for a sec. Right, I'm back now, and yeah, let's get into this. Okay, yeah. With the crime in the early morning, we completely forgotten about breakfast. Fair enough, no breakfast, gang. Let's fucking go. So we now had our first meal of the day at the time that could never be called breakfast time. Oh yeah, I wonder when it actually is. Even Goda-san's wonderful meal, which has supposedly been in the works since yesterday. God, that's awful. Yeah, provided no comfort. The several empty seats quietly burned in dust. Oh yeah, understandable. Yeah, with a pain-filled sad. Yeah, that is fair. What? Then, in the middle of this meal that felt like a vigil, Erika suddenly stood up. Everyone focused on her to see what was the matter. Her expression was somewhere between relief and Yeah, fair enough, yeah. So, she had made some groundbreaking and strange discovery. Hey, what's up? Are you okay?
わかりました。わかりました。
I've got it.
私にわからないとお思いですか？
Did you think I wouldn't understand?
わかりましたもん。そんなバカなことあるわけがない。
Interesting. Did you think I wouldn't understand? Yes, I've got it. There's no way something that stupid could happen. With a hideous expression covered in cold sweat. Oh my god, yeah, I see that. Yeah, she's just totally stressed. She really, really is. Oh, yeah. Erika glared and lashed out at Battler. What? Do you get?
あなたが3階の書斎から飛び降りられるわけなんかないじゃないですか。
There's no way you jumped down from the third floor study.
私たちは誰一人あんたが飛び降り中庭に着地したところなんて見てないんですから。
To be fair, that is actually a fair point. They did actually see him when he was down, but at the same time they had never actually seen him land. But at the same time, how do you then prove his means of safety? What was it? There was no way you jumped down from the third floor study. Not one of us saw you fall down and land in the courtyard. Fair enough, actually. Yeah, because, for example, what if you're assigning human motives to things? What if, for example, these people have got some sort of inflatable bag that when you actually go on it, it can withstand all of the force that you actually have?
あなたは中庭からはしごをかけて3階の窓にルドルフさんが登るのを見ていたとき。
When you set the ladder up from the courtyard and saw Rudolph-san go up it to the third story
その
window,
外壁の構造をよく観察し、雨どいなどをうまく伝えば、3階の窓から中庭に降りることは不可能じゃないと気づいたんです。
you closely observed the construction of the outer wall and realized that by cleverly using a rain gutter... Hold up. Oh my fucking god, come on. Got some... Right. By cleverly using a rain gutter, it might be possible to go down to the courtyard from the third floor window. But at the same time, how can you make it look like you've jumped, though? Because obviously, he literally jumped, and it made it look as if he smashed the window. How could he then go to the rain gutter? I don't understand that. You didn't jump down.
雨どいなどを伝え、みっともなく外壁を這い降りたんです。
You used a rain gutter or something and clumsily wriggled down the outer wall.
どうです？私の青き真実は。さあ、反論は？
God, she is just so absurdly she is hostile when proven wrong. What do you think of my blue truth? Come on, what's your counter argument? By the way, I love that she is not reading the room whatsoever. This is a meal, and yet she is still trying to do this. My counter argument.
反論はない。
Oh yeah, you don't have a counter argument.
ならば、私の真実は有効ですね。
Then my truth is valid, right?
ほら、見たことか。
Hey, did you see that?
かっこつけて飛び降りたように見えたのはすべて幻想。
Trying to look cool and making it look like you jumped down was all an
あんた
illusion.
はかっこつけて飛び出し、雨どいにしがみついただけなんです。
Right, Battler I am sure that Battler could disprove this a lot. Just look at the physics of the situation. I don't think that'll work whatsoever. How would you falling at a really, really high speed with lots of gravitational potential energy be able to have the strength to get onto a rain gutter and then, you know, hold onto it? Firstly, get a grip. Secondly, hold onto it. Thirdly, make it actually withstand some of the, you know, gravity that is pulling you down. And then thirdly, how would you actually be able to make it so that, where does this rain gutter end? What if the rain gutter ends, to be fair, it may end at the bottom. Ooh, I wonder what Battler's going to say. My argument then was about whether it was possible for grandfather to escape from the study,
そ
right?
してじいさまは窓から抜け出すことも可能だった。
Yeah, and it was possible for grandfather to escape through the
俺
window.
はそれを証明しただけだぜ。
All I did was prove
飛
that.
び降りようが這い降りようが、それは変わらねえはずだがな。
No, I don't disagree, but at the same time, the thing is, I suppose if the proof is actually invalid, then it does change it. But at the same time, it does, ultimately, it does actually change the result of Battler having, it does change the results of, you know, Keenzel still having a means of escape, even if the escape was faked or not.
はぐらかさないでください。
Yeah, that's actually really quite funny that what Erika is actually arguing against is totally pointless to argue against. But at the same time, she is still trying it just because of how desperate she is to, you know, prove somebody wrong. Let's be honest here. Don't try to change the subject. Jesus Christ.
人間風情が3階から飛び降りられるはずがないんです。
A mere human can't jump down from the third floor.
それ見たことか。それ見たことか。
She is so absurd. Not only is she really, really stressed, but she craves for sympathy and, you know, understanding and obviously ego so much. Did you see that? Did you see
いか
that?
がです？我が主、我が推理。
What did you think of my reasoning, my master?
お前疲れてんのか？
Are you tired or something?
飯くらい落ち着いて食えよ。
Oh, seriously? She is never going to be able to do that, though. No way. Just calm down and eat some food. Oh, well, I love the battler isn't actually giving her any of what she loves. When he escaped to the courtyard through the window, Battler really did use the rain gutter. Really? What? When he escaped to the courtyard through the window, Battler really did use the rain gutter to crawl down like the wall, just like Erika said. Oh, that's interesting. I am genuinely so surprised. I thought this was all nonsense. I genuinely did. What? No fucking way. How? So even though it would be very difficult to actually use the rain gutters to survive a 3 feet, you know, 3 floor long height, you can still do it in theory. I see that. It is going to be hard to do, but at the same time it still is possible. Yeah, his hand had slipped halfway and he had fallen from a considerable height. Oh, right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but he managed to land on his feet. That surprises me so much. Yeah, no one would have witnessed this. But most likely, everyone in the dining hall now except Erika had realised that something like this had happened. Yeah. That really surprises me, though. Yeah, since the very beginning, no one had believed that he jumped down through the 3rd floor window. Even if they hadn't witnessed that directly. Yeah, so they had no clue what Erika was complaining about all of a sudden. And started to whisper, staring at her with cold eyes and dubious faces.
反論できないでしょ?
That's the worst thing. Can he really not? You can't cancel that, can you?
あなたの飛び降りは否定された.
You jumping down has already been denied. I don't disagree,
私の
yeah.
真実が勝ったんです.
Not until Battler has said something. She really is irritating. Is it? My blue truth is valid.
それをどうかお認めください。
Yeah, she craves attention so much. My master, please acknowledge
私
this.
は無能ではありません。失望もさせません。
I'm not incompetent or a disappointment.
必ずやこのようにご期待に応えてみせますから、どうかお見捨てにならないでください、我が主。
God, yeah, I will match up to your expectations without fail, so don't abandon me, my master. Facing someone that might have been... yeah, facing someone that might have been somewhere beyond the ceiling. Yeah, Edika spread her arms and yelled. She probably looks mad. Ooh, that's interesting. Then, as if in answer, a massive lightning bolt landed very close by. It was an incredible sound. They could even feel the earth shake. That is interesting. Jesus Christ. At the same time as that sound, Edika went limp and fell into her seat. Oh, I like that. Yeah, like a puppet who'd have its strings just cut. Then, as the sound of the wind and rain slowly filled the room once again, Edika slowly opened her eyes as though recovering from a bout of dizziness. God, that's brutal. Then she continued eating in silence. That's weird. Then she continued eating in silence as though nothing had happened. As if she had been acting normally the whole time. That is actually really interesting. I do wonder if this could potentially mean that she has got the acknowledgement that she desires. But at the same time, I don't really understand that. I mean, it's just such an odd switch in personalities. Like, you would have thought if she had actually received acknowledgement, then she would be exclaiming about it and really, really happy. Didn't Edika just stand up suddenly and yell something strange at someone? Automatically, enough to make one doubt their eyes, Edika continued eating quietly as though everything was perfectly normal. Yeah, seriously, yeah. When they saw how ordinary she looked, everyone convinced themselves that they were totally worn out and that they must have seen some illusion of Edika suddenly. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh, that's interesting. And that really, really gives strength to the idea of the illusion of the witches. So, Edika's sudden transfiguration of a few seconds ago was treated as a daydream and faded out of, yeah, everyone's memories. Edika quietly poked at her salad and muttered in a voice no one could hear. Thank you very much, Lady, Great Lady Marcos. I'm Furudo Edika. I'm a master's piece in her double. She seems like she has so much pride in herself. And she is so absurdly determined as well. Yeah, I'll most certainly present you with an incredible tale. God. Isn't it just so weird that, you know, you see this character who is so absurdly horrible, but then you realise that, you know, behind all of the horrible nature of her, she really, really is just a sad, sad girl. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. She is fucking sad. And it's just depressing, and I feel sorry for her in a way. But at the same time, obviously, I don't feel sorry for the horrible effects she has on other people. Gertrude, Cornelia, let's look at those people, for example. That is really, really interesting that Byrne has actually received... Edika has actually received approval from Byrne, though. That just really surprises me. It is interesting, that. You are so two-faced. Holy fuck. Right, I've got to read I want to see how she actually, now that we really know more about her desire for total approval and total, you know, a total desire to be heard and to be recognised and, you know, significant out of the crowd, really, to stand out. I want to look at that. I want to pay attention for it. That's right, when it comes to the utensils, knives and forks are pretty primitive.
お箸が一番です
But you've already used this punchline. Chopsticks are the
サラ
best.
ダを最も食べやすいのはお箸だとは思いませんか
Don't you think chopsticks are the easiest... No? Easiest way to eat salad.
ね皆さん
Where everyone... Yeah, and look at that. Yeah. Always a desire for attention. Oh, that's the end. Yeah, it really is as if nothing has ever happened. And, you know, they're probably just going to treat it as if it's been some sort of daydream and some illusion that they've seen because of the fact that they've been so tired. So as a result, yeah, they're going to be a little bit deluded. And they're not going to be able to find the truth. What's that? 33 past? 27-1? Wonder what's going to happen next.
午前3時にバトラさんがゲストハウスに戻られてその後30分くらいで皆さんも解散されたんです
Oh, that is interesting. So she's obviously trying to find out more intel on her theory. I'll read it tomorrow because, yeah, I kind of want to go to bed now. Right, that was really interesting. Oh, I love that. I love that. That was really quite nice today. And, you know, just seeing everything regarding Enika, I really liked, firstly, seeing Dlanor's personality, and I found that really interesting. And, you know, secondly, everything regarding Enika, that was gold. That really was. And it's just really interesting to see how, you know, not only her desperation, but also, you know, what she is actually going to do just to get her reasoning proved. And it's just really interesting to see, you know, her desire for attention, and obviously I like the whole rejection as well. I find it interesting that what Byrne does is, I feel like she bullies people. She makes them, you know, she makes them in a position where, I suppose they need to rebel against their own desires. They don't want to lose, so they have to rebel. And that causes them to actually perform better. That's what's going to happen with Enika. It's so interesting to think about the whole lock-related thing. And, sorry, the knock, not the lock. The knock related thing and the letter, because there are so many reds that completely disprove it. And I really do wonder if tomorrow we're actually, maybe not tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be able to play tomorrow, but day after if I can't play tomorrow, you know, we're actually going to get some sort of means of having the red disproved. I really hope we are, because it's such an interesting mystery. And I do wonder what's actually going to happen regarding you know, just Dlanor, the second murders as well. I hope it's going to be an interesting set of murders. Could you imagine if Batello's actually murdered in any of the epitaphs? I do wonder if he will be. Isn't it weird to think that if Batello was killed in one of the epitaph ceremonies, this game, like what we would be reading now, it would have never happened. It's so weird to think that. But, yeah, anyway, I'm going to go to bed now. I really hope you guys enjoy it, because, my god, I did. That was really interesting. I love the stuff about the magic. It was really interesting, the stuff regarding magic when we saw it at the beginning. So, as if, you know, just because of the fact that magic has occurred, it just adds another layer to a result. It doesn't actually have much significance because of the fact that the result is the same. And it doesn't really change much in some situations. And I think that piece of understanding is why Beatrice actually wanted Dlanor to be invited there. By the way, I find it really odd about the fact that Angie could be invited to the Golden Land, even though Beatrice didn't want her there. I really don't understand why. Wait, hang on a second, let's think about this. So, which piece is this? Is this Beatrice outside the game board? It is Beatrice outside the game board, though. Maybe the Beatrice inside the game board might have wanted Angie to be there so that Beatrice could keep on participating. Maybe that can make it valid. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. That's going to be another thing that really is an irregularity that hopefully we're going to be able to find out soon. I don't know, though. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And, yeah, I'll see you next time. My god, I don't know what I'm excited for next. Well, obviously, I just want to see how the story is going to progress. But I really want to see more Battler versus Eddie card logic battles. I feel they have a lot of potential. So, yeah, I'll go to bed now. See you guys.